On the wedding night, my wife took a wild man to the hotel. Xu Yang was infatuated with Gao Furong, treating her with immense care and fulfilling all her needs. However, Gao Furong saw Xu Yang as nothing more than a loyal admirer. She married Xu Yang for a bride price of several million, a marriage arranged to save her brother, who had been involved in an embezzlement scheme and faced imprisonment. She was unwilling to give her first time to Xu Yang. On their wedding night, she spent the evening with her first love. In an effort to avoid intimacy with Xu Yang, she caused him to contract HIV, using it as an excuse to refuse sleeping with him. She embezzled money from Xu's family to support her first love's career, ultimately ruining Xu's family and causing their downfall. Chapter 1. Xu Yang. Xu Yang. Are you pretending to be deaf? I'm talking to you. You have 20 minutes to come to the mall and pay the bill. If you embarrass me, I won't attend tomorrow's wedding. Hearing their voice coming from the phone, Xu Yang suddenly snapped out of his daze. He pinched his thigh hard and realized this wasn't a dream or an illusion. He had truly been reborn, back to the day before he married Gao Furong, 9 years ago. Oh, just wait, Xu Yang coldly replied, then hung up the phone. On this very day in his previous life, Gao Furong had taken her relatives to a high-end store at the mall and spent nearly 200,000 yuan on clothes. The excuse was that her relatives needed clothes for the wedding the next day, so Xu Yang had to buy them a set. In truth, it was Gao Furong's mother showing off, forcing Xu Yang to pick up the tab. Xu Yang looked at his father, Xu Haixing, who was busy preparing for the wedding the next day. He walked over and firmly grabbed his hand. Dad, stop busying yourself. I'm not getting married. What did you say? Xu Haixing thought he misheard and looked at Xu Yang in shock. I said, I'm not getting married. Xu Haixing looked at Xu Yang in disbelief. After a long pause, he suddenly embraced him tightly, his voice full of excitement. Dad fully supports you. Xu Yang had always been so humble toward Gao Furong, and Xu Haixing had witnessed it all. He never approved of Gao Furong and had tried multiple times to convince Xu Yang. But Xu Yang, like someone bewitched, was obsessed with Gao Furong, loving her deeply to the point of no return. Whenever someone spoke ill of her, Xu Yang would get furious. When Xu Yang was 12, his mother passed away from a serious illness, and he had been raised by his father alone without remarrying. Even though Xu Haixing wasn't satisfied with his son's choice of wife, he had agreed because he thought his son's happiness was the most important thing. Did you give the dowry to Gao's family? Xu Yang asked. Gao Furong's parents owned a building materials shop, worth around 2 million yuan, a mere fraction of Xu family's wealth. Xu Haixing's film company was valued at over 1 billion. Xu Yang was definitely a rich second generation from the entertainment industry. Xu Yang's marriage to Gao Furong was considered a leap up for the Gao family, but they demanded a dowry of 10 million yuan and also asked for a car and a house for Gao Furong's brother. Everyone said Gao Furong had found a rich son-in-law, but in her and her family's eyes, Xu Yang was nothing more than a fool and an ATM. In Gao Furong's eyes, Xu Yang was just a devoted admirer. In the past life, at the wedding, Gao Furong publicly confessed her love to her first love, Zhao Kang, who had just returned from abroad. On their wedding night, she used the excuse of not being ready to refuse to sleep with Xu Yang, then immediately gave her first time to Zhao Kang. She enjoyed the comfortable lifestyle provided by the Xu family, but refused to fulfill her duties as a wife. She took Xu Yang's money to support Zhao Kang's career. However, eventually, living without intimacy became impossible. Gao Furong's best friend gave her some bad advice. Gao Furong, following her friend's suggestion, made sure Xu Yang contracted HIV, and then used that as a valid reason to refuse to sleep with him. 3 years after their marriage, Xu Yang never slept with Gao Furong. Meanwhile, Zhao Kang's career flourished, and Gao Furong embezzled 200 million yuan from the Xu family to fund Zhao Kang's business. At the same time, the Xu family ran into trouble and needed that money to stay afloat. But Gao Furong showed Xu Yang a contract, claiming the money had already been invested and wouldn't be available for 5 years. Because of this, Xu Haixing's company went bankrupt, and their assets were seized to cover debts. Xu Haixing, who had a weak heart, suffered a fatal heart attack. The 3 million debt fell onto Xu Yang's shoulders. He was chased by creditors and had to flee. Having no money, Xu Yang reluctantly turned to Gao Furong for help, but not only did she refuse, she also asked for a divorce. Xu Yang refused, and Gao Furong got him drunk and then accused him of rape. Despite nothing happening, she successfully manipulated the situation. Xu Yang was sentenced to 6 years in prison for rape and intentionally spreading a virus. Gao Furong then swiftly divorced him and eagerly threw herself into Zhao Kang's arms, even though Zhao Kang was already married with children. She willingly became his mistress. She gave all her love to her first love, Zhao Kang, and all her malice to Xu Yang. After being imprisoned, everyone considered Xu Yang a criminal, except for his childhood friend, Ning Feifei, who believed in him. She frequently visited him and helped him after his release. Only then did Xu Yang realize that the person who had truly cared for him was Ning Feifei. Upon his release, Xu Yang's first priority was to settle the score with Gao Furong. However, before he could act on it, he got into a car accident. Is her family urging for the dowry again? I've already given them 5 million. Xu Haixing's voice interrupted Xu Yang's thoughts. Xu Yang clenched his fists tightly. In this life, he would not allow Gao Furong's family to bring any more harm to him or his father. In this life, he would take brutal revenge on the Gao family, including Zhao Kang and Gao Furong's best friend, Yarnlu. In this life, he would marry Ning Feifei, using the knowledge he had gained over the next 9 years to accumulate immense wealth. Dad, I'll listen to you. I'll marry Feifei. What? Say that again. I'm not marrying Gao Furong anymore. I'm going to marry Ning Feifei. You brat, you finally came to your senses. Xu Haixing grinned widely, laughing without any sense of doubt. He didn't think that changing fiancés the day before their wedding was reckless. In fact, he was thrilled. Ning Feifei was the best choice for daughter-in-law in his heart. But in the past, Xu Yang had no other feelings for Ning Feifei and was solely focused on marrying Gao Furong. However, I have a condition. I want to use all the available funds from the family to buy shares in Hongyun Energy. Deal. Xu Haixing didn't care about what kind of shares they were. He immediately agreed, thinking that the most important thing was that his son could marry Feifei. Xu Yang knew that Hongyun Energy's stock price would soar 100-fold within the next 6 months. At the mall, Gao Furong had already been waiting for 20 minutes. Her relatives had already picked out their clothes. But Xu Yang still hadn't shown up. Why hasn't he come yet? Furong, hurry and urge him. Wang Guifan was visibly irritated. Do you think he's not coming? Gao Furong's cousin seemed a little worried, especially since she had picked a dress costing over 20,000 yuan. If he had 100 guts, he wouldn't dare not come. Don't look at Xu Yang's rich family. He's completely under my sister's control, he's just her little lapdog. Gao Xiaojun said proudly. No way, a rich second-generation guy, and he's a lapdog. Her cousin doubted. Chapter 2. The faces of the other relatives were also filled with doubt. Wang Guifan smugly said, Xiaojun isn't boasting. Xu Yang is just our Furong's lapdog. When Furong tells him to go east, he wouldn't dare go west. Otherwise, how could he give so much for the dowry? Instantly, the relatives had varied expressions on their faces, and they all started praising her. To make a rich second-generation guy into a lapdog, how impressive must she be? You girls should learn from Furong, find yourself a rich boyfriend, marry into a wealthy family, and get him to give a high-priced dowry. That'll help the family. Furong sis, you've got to teach us how to do this. Gao Furong smiled and nodded. Then she took out her phone and dialed Xu Yang. Gao Xiaojun immediately added with pride, my sister is calling Xu Yang now. He'll definitely pick up within 3 rings. Sure enough, on the 3rd ring, Xu Yang answered the phone. The relatives were even more convinced and thought Gao Furong was really capable. Xu Yang, have you arrived? Hurry up, we've been waiting for a long time. Gao Furong said haughtily. Are you kidding me? Your relatives are shopping, and you want me to pick up the bill? Do you think I'm a fool, or just an ATM? To show off, Gao Furong deliberately put the phone on speaker. Everyone in the room could hear Xu Yang's words clearly. Immediately, their expressions changed. Gao Furong was stunned. Xu Yang used to obey her without question. He would never go against her. But now, he dared to defy her. Had the world turned upside down? Xu Yang, I order you to come to the mall right now. If you don't come, you'll face the consequences. Gao Furong lowered her voice and said angrily. I'm sorry, I'm busy. He replied coldly and hung up the phone. In this reborn life, he would no longer be a lapdog. Buying the bill for Gao Furong's relatives. Ridiculous. Gao Furong, who was hung up on, was left stunned. This kind of thing had never happened before. She had always told Xu Yan that whatever she ordered, he had to obey unconditionally. If he didn't comply, she wouldn't give him a chance to pursue her. And Xu Yan had always followed her every demand strictly. But today, he actually dared to hang up on her. Unbelievable. Gao Furong tried calling again, but Xu Yan didn't answer. After 3 attempts, her phone notified her that the number was switched off. Xu Yan, transfer 280,000 yuan to pay for the bill, or I won't marry you tomorrow. Gao Furong angrily sent the message. Cousin, Xu Yan really isn't coming? What about our clothes? This is impossible. We've already picked everything out. You can't tell us now you're not paying, right? Yeah, you just said Xu Yan would definitely come and pay the bill. Could it be fake? Is he messing with us? The relatives started mocking her. Sis, you need to think of something quickly, Gao Xiaojun said urgently. He had boasted so much, but if Xu Yan didn't come to pay, their family would lose face in front of the relatives. This lapdog has really grown some guts. Furong is about to marry him, and he dares to refuse our request. We need to show him some color. If we don't put him in his place now, once he marries into their family, we get bullied by them. Wang Guifan said angrily. Gao Furong kept sending messages. Xu Yan, I'm giving you one last chance. If you don't come today, I won't attend the wedding tomorrow. After sending it, Gao Furong smiled smugly. She thought that after hearing this, Xu Yan would panic and immediately apologize, trying to please her. He would unconditionally fulfill any request she made. Are you going to pay or not? The salesperson came over impatiently to urge them. Everyone eagerly looked at Gao Furong. But after several minutes, Gao Furong's phone still hadn't received any response from Xu Yan. She suddenly slapped her forehead, remembering that Xu Yan had switched off his phone and couldn't see her messages. He turned off his phone. He can't see my messages. Gao Furong gritted her teeth. He embarrassed me today, so tomorrow I'll embarrass him. Mom, tell everyone here to arrive an hour late for their wedding. Good, we should teach them a lesson. I'll notify them right away. Soon, all of Gao Furong's relatives received messages saying to arrive 1.5 hours later for the wedding. Xu Yan, tomorrow I'll make you beg me to hold the wedding. You embarrassed me today, so tomorrow I'll repay you double. At that moment, Yang Lu's call came in. Furong, I've got good news for you. Zhao Kang is back in the country. What? He's back? He'll land in an hour. You still have time to drive to the airport and pick him up. Okay, I'm on my way. After hanging up, Gao Furong didn't care about how the relatives would pay, excitedly driving the Porsche that Xu Yan had bought for her, heading straight to the airport. During college, Zhao Kang was outstanding tall, handsome, with an irresistible charm. He was the campus heartthrob, surrounded by a group of women, and Gao Furong was one of them. At that time, Gao Furong didn't have the chance. When she finally gathered the courage to confess, Zhao Kang was about to study abroad, and she missed the chance. For all these years, she had only thought about Zhao Kang. No other man caught her eye. Now that she knew he was back, how could she not be excited? An hour later, Gao Furong met Zhao Kang, whom she hadn't seen for 4 years. I didn't expect it to be you picking me up. Zhao Kang gave Gao Furong a hug, still as elegant and charming as ever, handsome and radiant. Gao Furong felt like the happiest woman in the world at that moment. Actually, over these 4 years, the one I missed the most was you. Zhao Kang held her shoulders, his eyes full of affection. Gao Furong couldn't hold back her tears. She had waited so many years for this sentence. Her beloved, white moonlight, actually liked her too. But tomorrow, she was marrying Xu Yan. Her mood instantly sank to the bottom. No, she couldn't miss her idol. Zhao Kang, would you be with me? Gao Furong lifted her head, biting her lip, and asked. Being with you would be the happiest thing in my life, Zhao Kang said with a brilliant smile. Zhao Kang, you're so good. 10 million. As long as you can get me 10 million, we can be together. Zhao Kang's smile froze, and his muscles twitched uncontrollably. The next day, 10 a.m., Tianhai Hotel Banquet Hall. Xu Yang and Xu Haixing sat on the side, smoking. The banquet hall wasn't decorated with any wedding cheer. There were no guests either. Only a few waiters and an MC, all of whom were filled with confusion. Was this supposed to be a wedding? Chapter 3. Half an hour had passed. The bride still hadn't arrived, nor had any of her family members or guests shown up. Xu Haixing glanced at the time and sighed, "It really is just like you predicted." Xu Yang pointed at the MC. "Tell them to remove everything that should be taken down, but leave you here." The MC quickly gave the order. The wedding was clearly a no-go now. Xu Haixing looked at his son with a tinge of sympathy, sighing inwardly. This situation had truly thrown his son off balance. He was already going crazy buying stocks and inflating his shares. Xu Yang showed no sadness on his face. Right now, he was more concerned with his shares in Hongyun Energy. "Father, how many shares of Hongyun Energy did you buy?" "Yesterday, I bought 200 million in 30 batches. Though the stock has been up today, the gains have been minimal. I still have about 100 million available. Do you want to continue buying?" "Why not? This is just the beginning." He knew his father had around 300 million in liquid assets. In his past life, this stock had the most significant upward trend in recent years. Even though it wasn't doing particularly well now and had been on a decline, as long as they waited until mid-year, it could turn around overnight. Doubling or even making billions would be no problem. Having lived again, Xu Yang didn't want to be idle and let life pass him by. He wanted to accomplish something big. An hour later, Gao Furong and her relatives still hadn't shown up, but Xu Yang didn't urge them. Gao Furong hadn't contacted Xu Yang either. The venue had returned to its original state, with no trace of the festive atmosphere expected of a wedding. The Gao family. Gao Furong kept checking her phone, and her expression grew darker by the minute. It had been over an hour. Xu Yang hadn't sent her a single call or message. Did that mean Xu Yang didn't want to get married anymore? "Dad, Mom, I think it's time to go," Gao Furong said, her irritation mounting. She was eager to marry Zhao Kang, but he had just returned to the country and didn't even have a million. Her brother, on the other hand, was waiting to fill a 6 million shortfall in the public funds, and without that money, he'd go to jail. She was willing to wait for Zhao Kang's career to take off, but she didn't have that much time. 20 minutes later, the Gao family arrived at the wedding venue. When they saw the empty banquet hall, void of any signs of a wedding celebration, they all widened their eyes. If it weren't for Xu Yang and Xu Haixing still being there, they might have thought they had arrived at the wrong place. "Xu Yang, what does this mean?" Gao Furong angrily walked up and questioned him sternly. "I thought you weren't coming to have the wedding with me, so I had everything taken down," Xu Yang shrugged. "Who said I wasn't coming? I was just mad at you yesterday." Gao Furong gritted her teeth. Xu Yang opened his phone and pointed at the last message. "You already informed me you wouldn't attend the wedding, so I cancelled it. I'm not forcing you. By the way, when do you plan to return the betrothal gift?" Xu Yang sneered. "What did you say?" Hearing this, Gao Furong was stunned, unable to believe that Xu Yang had cancelled the wedding and even demanded the betrothal gift back. At that moment, a group of guests walked in, and Zhao Kang was among them. Upon seeing Zhao Kang, Xu Yang's lips curled up slightly. In his past life, this man had been one of the main culprits behind the destruction of his family. This time, Xu Yang planned to play with him slowly, turning both him and Gao Furong into a joke. "The wedding has been cancelled. Everyone go back to where you came from, and I won't be accepting any gift money. Sorry." Xu Yang grabbed the microphone and addressed the crowd loudly. The relatives were dumbfounded. Gao Furong's face had turned an extremely dark shade, practically dripping with anger. She slowly walked toward Xu Yang and raised her hand to slap his face. Xu Yang firmly grabbed her wrist, preventing her slap from landing. She struggled, but her strength was no match for Xu Yang's. "Let go!" Gao Furong shouted icily. "Since you've notified me you wouldn't be having a wedding, I've done exactly as you said. Why are you hitting me? Why are you hitting me? You sent me the message saying you weren't coming to the wedding, didn't you?" Xu Yang's eyes were filled with mockery. It was clear that the Gao family needed to take the 1 million betrothal gift from him to cover Gao Xiaojun's public fund deficit. Clearly, they were the ones who needed something from him. But with the way she and her family were acting, arrogantly abusing his indulgence, it made him feel like they could do anything to him without consequences. In his past life, he had been blind and was thus destroyed by them. But in this life, Xu Yang would never allow such things to happen again. Xu Yang, I am extremely angry. You must apologize to me. Gao Furong shouted. That's right. You should apologize. Furong was only saying something in the heat of the moment. She didn't really mean to cancel their wedding, but you made her look bad in front of so many guests. Gao Zhisheng angrily said. You shouldn't have embarrassed our family. If you don't apologize, this won't be over. Wang Guifan also yelled loudly. Xu Haixing was still sitting aside, smoking, without a word. He believed his son could handle it himself. Xu Yang sneered, oh, you want an apology? Fine, well said. But, you're the ones who need to apologize. I gave 1 million in betrothal gifts, a house, and a luxury car. I've spent all this money, what have you given me in return? Threats? Arrogance. When your family buys things, you'd go mad over losing a few $100. Why is it that when it's my turn, I spend over 10 million and end up with nothing, and on top of that, you treat me like this? As for now, I don't want to get married anymore. If you don't want to, then forget it. Return the betrothal gift, house, and car. Xu Yang shoved Gao Furong aside. Gao Furong was so angry that her chest was heaving, her face contorted in rage. She couldn't understand, couldn't grasp why this obedient man had suddenly changed. In the past, as long as she was angry, he would immediately rush to please her. At this moment, Gao Zhisheng, Wang Guifan, and Gao Xiaojun were all in a panic. If Xu Yang didn't marry her, not only would they lose the remaining 500,000, but they would also have to return the money Xu Yang had already given. But 3 days later, the company would be audited, and Gao Xiaojun would probably end up in jail. The 6 million shortfall, they couldn't afford to pay it back even if they sold everything. What's going on? What's wrong with Zhisheng's family? Why is everything falling apart at the wedding? What happened? Such a good son-in-law, and you didn't appreciate him. Now look what has happened. You really think rich people are easy to manipulate? Some guests were already muttering among themselves. Zhao Keng didn't dare speak a word. Yesterday, when Gao Furong had asked him to give 1 million to marry her, he had chickened out. He had just returned from abroad with the 1 million he had worked so hard to make, planning to start his own business. How could he possibly invest all of it in a woman? Was his money blown in by the wind? The hardest part was accumulating initial capital. If he lost this, he didn't know if he could ever make it back. Chapter 4. Gao Furong was trembling with anger, but she couldn't refute Xu Yang's words. However, she absolutely couldn't concede like this. Otherwise, Xu Yang's courage would only grow in the future, wouldn't it? Would he continue to manipulate her, just like before? Xu Yang, I'll say it one last time. As long as you apologize to me, I'll let it go. We can still have the wedding. This is your final chance. Gao Furong said each word forcefully. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize? Gao Furong. Are you out of your mind? Shouldn't it be you apologizing? I'll give you one last chance. If you don't apologize to me, I won't marry you. I'll go through legal procedures to get back my dowry, the house, and the car. Even the gifts you demanded from me. I've calculated it. After 2 years of dating, I've spent no less than 7 million on you. Xu Yang slightly curled his lips, his gaze full of amusement. Once he no longer cared about this woman, her so-called confidence and capital became a joke. Who would give a pampered person the right to act arrogantly? In this world, the one who pays is the boss. But here, the tables had turned. Who was spoiling her? Gao Zhisheng walked up to Gao Furong, slapped her hard across the face, and sternly said, "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and apologize to Xu Yang." "Dad, what are you doing?" Gao Furong asked, shocked. "What do you think I'm doing?" "Of course, I'm making you apologize to Xu Yang. Yesterday, you said you didn't want to marry, and now you're blaming him?" Since you made a mistake, you should face the consequences. Wang Guifan quickly added, Furong, you're wrong. Apologize now. Sis, you've made a mistake. Apologize quickly. Gao Xiaojun said anxiously. He couldn't afford to lose the dowry from Shuyang, or he'd have to give up his car and house and even face jail time. Hearing this, Gao Furong's face showed a mix of grievance as she started to cry. She looked toward Zhao Kang for help, but Zhao Kang only kept signaling her with his eyes. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. Gao Furong gritted her teeth and said. She understood Zhao Kang and didn't want him to lose everything to her parents because of the dowry. I don't see any sincerity at all, Shuyang sneered. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I apologize. Please, let us go ahead with the wedding. Gao Furong gritted her teeth again, repeating her apology. Kneel. What? You want me to kneel and apologize to you? Gao Furong was utterly enraged, staring at Shuyang. You can choose not to kneel. I'm not forcing you, Shuyang shrugged and sat down, lighting a cigarette and blowing smoke. Gao Zhisheng forcefully pushed Gao Furong, glaring at her. Wang Guifan also kept signaling with her eyes, warning her. Gao Xiaojun leaned close to Gao Furong's ear and whispered seriously. Then, Gao Furong took a deep breath, walked up to Shuyang, and kneeled. I'm sorry. Shuyang, I shouldn't have said that yesterday. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Now that's more like it. Shuyang took out the wedding ring and put it on Gao Furong's finger, then stood up. I've put the ring on you. The wedding is done. Tonight, we'll consummate the marriage, and tomorrow we'll get the marriage certificate. The wedding banquet has been cancelled. No one will eat. It's done. Everyone can leave now. Upon hearing this, the scene erupted. Gao Furong stared at Shuyang in disbelief, unable to accept it. Her first wedding, and it was this rushed and simple. But could she refuse? Dare she oppose it? The guests angrily left. Gao family stood awkwardly to the side, while Shuyang's eyes remained fixed on Zhao Kang. In the past life, Gao Furong confessed her love to Zhao Kang during the wedding, and that night, she gave her first time to him. In this life, he would not allow such a thing to happen again. This was his hunting ground, and they were his prey. Finally, once everyone had left, only the Gao family remained. And the remaining dowry. Gao Zhisheng eagerly looked at Shuyang. Tonight, we consummate the marriage, tomorrow we get the certificate. After we complete those steps, the dowry will be transferred to you in full. Shuyang looked at the people before him with disgust. Gao Furong's heart sank. Was she really going to consummate the marriage with Shuyang tonight? Was her first time going to be taken by him? No. Her first time should only belong to the man she loved most. She would never give it to a man she didn't love and even look down upon, like a dog. Such a dog wasn't worthy of her. Furong, did you hear that? As long as you consummate the marriage with Shuyang tonight, you can get the certificate tomorrow. Once you have the certificate, you'll be legally married. Gao Zhisheng's tone was extremely serious as he reminded Gao Furong that until they got the certificate, she had to go along with Shuyang's wishes. Everything should be dealt with only after the certificate was obtained. Before the certificate, Gao Furong was an outsider. After the certificate, she would be part of the Shu family, with the right to share and even distribute Shu family's assets. I think there's no need to wait until tonight. You should go back and do it now. It's only a matter of time anyway, Wang Guifan said eagerly. Dad and Mom are right. Sis, just listen to them, Gao Xiaojun added impatiently. He was eager to get the remaining 5 million dowry and hoped for his sister's future support. The Shu family's assets exceeded 1 billion, and he was counting on using fake entertainment resources to win over a goddess with dreams of stardom. Hearing her parents and brother, Gao Furong was filled with resentment. Shuyang was just a dog. This was her first time, such a precious thing. How could a dog like him be worthy to enjoy it? Her first time, that beautiful memory, should only belong to the man she loved most, so she wouldn't have any regrets in life. Otherwise, she'd regret it forever. I'm not feeling well today. It'll be 3 days before it's over, Gao Furong gritted her teeth, deciding to put it off for now. As for when Shuyang discovered that her period didn't match, she could continue to make excuses. In any case, she was unwilling to consummate the marriage with Xu Yang tonight. She didn't want to in the future either. Every time she thought of Xu Yang crawling like a dog, kneeling in front of her with no dignity, she felt that he was not worthy of her, not worthy of her body. If it weren't for her brother, even if Xu Yang begged her on his knees, she would never marry him. If not for the rebirth and knowing what Gao Furong was planning, Xu Yang might have believed her. In the past life, he hadn't forced her. This time, under his pressure, some things would be arranged in advance, like her trying to infect him with HIV. Well, if you're not ready, we'll wait until later, Xu Yang said. But from now on, Furong, you need to move into my house. That's fine, right? Chapter 5. It's natural. What's the problem? After lunch, we will help Furong move. Wang Guifan said quickly. Then where are we going for lunch? Gao Zhisheng asked. The banquet has been cancelled. You can take care of it yourself. My father's company has urgent matters to deal with, so I won't accompany you. Xu Yang looked at Xu Haixing. Dad, we should go. Okay. Xu Haixing stood up and walked out of the banquet hall with Xu Yang. After coming out, Xu Haixing couldn't help asking, Xu Yang, how are you going to deal with this family? I have to play with them. I want to make their whole family run wild. Xu Yang said viciously. Is this too much? Xu Haixing frowned. If I tell you that she didn't have her period, and that at night, she was going to have a secret meeting with her white moonlight and give her first time, do you still think I'm doing too much? Xu Yang asked back. Xu Haixing took a breath of cold air. If this really happened, it would not be excessive, but too kind. Giving your first time to another man on the wedding night? Even if you kill him, it is not too much. Xu Haixing can start from scratch and make a good living in the film and television industry. Naturally, he is not a good person. Xu Yang stuffed a bank card into Xu Haixing's hand. Dad, this is the 20 million I got from selling my villa and some luxury goods. In a week, I will move back to live with you. You can also use this money to buy Hongyun Energy stocks. You even sold the villa. Xu Haixing was shocked. Is Xu Yang going to burn his boats? He has courage and spirit. Compared with the past, he is completely reborn and has the courage to do big things. Dad, help me find a reliable private detective. From now on, I will monitor Gao Furong 24 hours a day. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. The wedding banquet was abandoned halfway. Xu Yang held his phone and stared at the contact named Ning Feifei in a trance. After a long time, he mustered up the courage to press the dial button. Thump, thump. While waiting, he heard his heartbeat like a drum. He couldn't tell whether this heart was beating naturally or it started beating in order to see the beauty again. In the bathroom of a high-end apartment, the mist was thick and there was an occasional teasing sound of water. Under the bathtub sprinkled with roses, two white and slender long legs were looming, and above was the jade-like skin rippling in the hot water, the plump curves, and the piled petals covered the blood-pumping double peaks. Only the crystal water droplets slid down the deep clavicle along the end of their hair and melted into the bathtub along a groove. Who? The woman in the bath opened her eyes. Her face was steamed pink by the hot air, her eyes were filled with mist, her nose was upturned, and her lips were moist, like a mermaid emerging from the water in a European fairy tale. But her black hair and black eyes actually looked more like a beauty emerging from the bath in an ancient painting. Ning Feifei raised her hand and pressed her stinging forehead. She got drunk last night. It shouldn't have been like this, but she couldn't control herself. She opened her eyes tomorrow, the next day, and the man she had loved since childhood would marry another woman. After today, there would be no possibility between her and Xu Yang. Ding-ling-ling. The sudden ring of the cell phone interrupted her sadness. She didn't even look at the phone. She picked it up and said, I asked for leave from the company. I'll talk to you tomorrow if I have something. There was a pause on the other side of the phone, and then a familiar and alienated voice came. Is that so? Then I'm sorry to bother you. I was thinking of asking if you were free. Ning Feifei widened her eyes and looked at the contact, Xu Yang, on the phone, thinking she was in a dream. After all, Xu Yang had never contacted her since they fell in love. Feifei. Xu Yang on the other side of the phone didn't hear their voice, and said, Excuse me for interrupting you. If you are not free today, I will call you another day. No, no, no. Ning Feifei hurriedly spoke, her heart beating like a deer in surprise. I am free, I am free. Then, let's meet. A man's laughter came from the receiver. Good Impression Restaurant is a high-end Western restaurant. The per capita consumption starts at a minimum of 1,000 yuan. If you eat a little better, it will cost several thousand or tens of thousands. It is a check-in place for many internet celebrities and socialites. Even many urban white-collar workers, who usually save money, also come to check in. On Gao Furong's birthday half a month ago, Xu Yang gave her a supreme VIP card of the restaurant. This type of card requires capital verification first, and the card can be issued after reaching the standard. With this card, you can record consumption in the restaurant, which is equivalent to a credit card. Gao Furong, Yang Lu, and Zhao Kang walked into a private room in the restaurant. The location of this private room can see the most beautiful scenery of Jianghai City. This Xu Yang is so abominable. He actually wants me to spend the wedding night with him before he is willing to get the marriage certificate. Gao Furong said angrily after sitting down. What? The wedding turned out like this? He actually embarrassed you so much and made such a request. It's really out of line. Yang Lu cursed immediately after hearing this. But I am still pure and innocent. I don't want to spend the wedding night with him. What should I do? Gao Furong asked. Zhao Kang was overjoyed when he heard this. He didn't expect Gao Furong to be pure and innocent. Did she wait for him all the time and stay for him all the time? Isn't this very good? This is a great happy event. Yang Lu looked at Zhao Kang, then at Gao Furong, and suddenly laughed. Zhao Kang earned tens of millions of capital from abroad and returned to Jianghai to start a business. He is also a top student who returned from studying abroad. His future achievements will definitely be limitless. A solid thigh. Unfortunately, Zhao Kang had no interest in her at all. She had taken the initiative to pursue Zhao Kang when she was in school, but she had no chance at all. She also knew her own limitations, so she wanted to match Zhao Kang with Gao Furong. Yang Lu, what are you talking about? I'm so worried about you, why are you still saying this? Gao Furong frowned. Yang Lu laughed and said, Furong, since you like Zhao Kang, and Zhao Kang also likes you, and he has been thinking about you for the past few years abroad, you can't be together just because of a licking dog. But this can't prevent you from loving each other. I think you'd better give your first time to Zhao Kang, so that you can be harmonious and there will be no regrets in the future. If you give your first time to a licking dog you don't like at all, you will definitely regret it, and even feel disgusted for the rest of your life. Zhao Kang's eyes lit up immediately. Gao Furong's best friend is not bad, she is sensible. Gao Furong had such thoughts in mind, and when Yang Lu said it, she was even more moved and more confident. Oh, Yang Lu, how can you talk nonsense? I won't pay attention to you. Gao Furong pretended to be shy and glared at Yang Lu. That's right, do you really want to give your first time to that dog? Do you want to regret it for the rest of your life? It's settled. After dinner, you can go to get a room. As women, we must not leave any regrets in life. But what about after that? After that, I have it. I know an AIDS patient. As long as Xu Yang is infected with the virus, you can legitimately not let him touch you in the future, and you can be a young lady with peace of mind. What? Is this too much? Gao Furong was shocked and asked cautiously. It's indeed a bit excessive, but for your brother and your future happiness, what's wrong with being a little excessive? Yang Lu sneered, how can we women do big things if we are not ruthless? I can help you get blood, but you need to find an excuse to make a wound on Xu Yang. As long as we don't say it, who knows how he got infected? Zhao Kang gritted his teeth. Furong, I think what Yang Lu said makes sense. You don't like Xu Yang, so you must not be willing to be his wife for life, right? Gao Furong gritted her teeth and said fiercely, okay, let's do it. Another box. Xu Yang looked indifferent and picked up dishes for the woman opposite. Try this dish, it tastes very good. Good Impression Restaurant is Xu Yang's home. Xu Yang invited Ning Feifei to have dinner here. Who knew that Gao Furong came with Zhao Kang and Yang Lu not long after it started? So Xu Yang asked someone to put a camera in the box. In his previous life, he knew the result. But now, after hearing these words, although he pretended to be indifferent, his heart was still restless. Is this your newlywed wife? Ning Feifei's face was gloomy, as if ink was dripping out. She couldn't believe her eyes and ears. Gao Furong, as Xu Yang's newlywed wife, actually plotted against him so insidiously? Is this a wife or an enemy? Do you think I'm particularly stupid for falling in love with such a woman? Xu Yang asked with a wry smile. Yes, you are indeed stupid. Ning Feifei nodded with a broken heart. She knew that Xu Yang had been licking Gao Furong for 2 years, and she also envied Gao Furong, because the identity of Xu Yang's girlfriend and future wife has always been something she dreamed of. She didn't pray that Xu Yang liked her, but she always felt that Xu Yang's wife should be better than herself. However, Gao Furong's heart was so vicious, how could she be worthy of Xu Yang? Ning Feifei glanced at Xu Yang and found that he quickly calmed down, and her heart couldn't help but sour. Knowing that Gao Furong was going to plot against him like this, wouldn't he be angry? If it were him, he would have retaliated at all costs, even if it meant a fight to the death. At the same time, she was also glad that nothing had happened, and Xu Yang hadn't gotten married to Gao Furong, so everything was still possible. Looking at Xu Yang's face, Ning Feifei's fingertips moved slightly, and she had the urge to gently touch his face and tell him that she would always be with him. Chapter 6. Ning Feifei and Xu Yang grew up together, childhood sweethearts. But Xu Yang didn't have any feelings for her, and didn't have any thoughts. Even though she was prettier than Gao Furong. But she never dared to express it in front of Xu Yang. She was afraid that it would be too embarrassing after breaking this window paper, and she couldn't even be friends. I was really stupid before, but that was in the past. From now on, I will only live for those who care about me, and those who have ill will towards me and want to hurt me will be ruined forever. Xu Yang said coldly, lowering his eyes, trying to hide his surging emotions. However, Xu Yang did not know that if he had listened to Ning Feifei's advice in his previous life, everything would be different, just like he would not be deceived by Gao Furong and Zhao Kang and thrown into jail, and Ning Feifei would not marry someone else by mistake to avenge him, wasting half her life. In his previous life, when Xu Yang was in jail, Ning Feifei learned about Gao Furong and Zhao Kang's conspiracy from somewhere, and had the idea of revenge for him. For revenge, she even married a violent rich man's son and was forced to give birth to a child. Even though she was tortured, she did not give up. She lay dormant for 6 years, integrating the money and power of her own family and the rich family, forcing Gao Furong and Zhao Kang into bankruptcy and debt. However, fate played tricks on people. On the day when Xu Yang was released from prison, Gao Furong and Zhao Kang learned that everything Ning Feifei did was for Xu Yang, so they drove their car madly and killed Xu Yang in front of her. From then on, the two were separated forever, and Ning Feifei also lived by remembering Xu Yang in the years to come. Looking at the lonely man, Ning Feifei didn't know how to respond. By the way, since you are back, don't leave. Go to work in my father's company. The company has a manager who has left. You can take over. Me? Ning Feifei was surprised. Although she did have a dream of becoming a star, her major and current career had nothing to do with film and television. She was completely an outsider. Become a manager in a film and television company? She didn't know how. Yes, you are so outstanding in other places. You have been a department manager in just 3 years. Isn't it the same to try to change the industry? Xu Yang said with a smile. In his previous life, he regretted missing Ning Feifei because of Gao Furong, which made his life miserable. Ning Feifei married the wrong person, and her life was not happy. She was deeply hurt by the scumbag. In this life, he wanted to make up for the regret and make Ning Feifei's dream come true. Not only did he want to make her a big name in the film and television industry, but he also wanted to make her a big star. He controlled countless TV dramas, movies and popular songs in the next 9 years. As long as these things were released in advance, they would all belong to him. As for the previous life owners of these things, Xu Yang didn't care. If they were not created now, they would not belong to you. No, I can't do it. Ning Feifei waved her hands quickly. I said you can do it, you must do it. Isn't it your dream to be a big star since you were a child? Come to my dad's company and you will have a chance. Ning Feifei was immediately moved. Besides, my dad is also very optimistic about you, and he also wants you to be the daughter-in-law of my Xu family. As long as you come, I promise that he will definitely use you. Xu Yang laughed. Ning Feifei's pretty face immediately turned red. She didn't know if Xu Yang was hinting at something. She didn't dare to ask. But she was moved. Let's talk about this later. I also need to think about it seriously. Ning Feifei answered after struggling for a long time. A moment later, Gao Furong and others had eaten and drunk enough. Gao Furong called the waiter and took out the Supreme VIP card. Keep it in the account. Gao Furong handed the card to the waiter proudly. I'm sorry, miss, this card is currently invalid and can't be used anymore. The waiter replied politely. What did you say? Gao Furong's face suddenly changed. In order to retaliate against Xu, she specially ordered the most expensive dishes and the best red wine, and the total consumption was more than 60,000. She had never eaten such a luxurious meal in her life. Since the card was invalid, she had to pay for it herself. Let herself pay such a large sum of money. This is impossible. Why did you cancel it for no apparent reason? Does your restaurant still have integrity? Call your manager over. The waiter went out and asked the manager to come over. I'm sorry, this card has indeed been cancelled and cannot be used anymore. We have notified the card holder and obtained his consent. If you have any questions, you can contact the card holder. This is a matter between you and the card holder and has nothing to do with my restaurant. Now please pay the bill in full. After hearing what the manager said, Gao Furong's face immediately sank. She took out her mobile phone and called Xu. But no matter how she called, Xu just didn't answer. Gao Furong's nose was crooked with anger. This licking dog dared not answer her call. It was really unreasonable. I'll pay. Zhao Kang came out and swiped the card to pay the bill. Xu is really too much. He must have deliberately cancelled the card just because he didn't want you to spend his money again. Yang Lu immediately added fuel to the fire. Yang Lu is right. It is impossible to stop using a card of this level suddenly. This is a big customer of the restaurant. It is very difficult for the restaurant to issue a card. It should be that Xu feels that he has already got you and is unwilling to spend money on you. Zhao Kang also spoke up. Gao Furong was even more angry. When she was discussing how to deal with Xu just now, she still felt a little bit reluctant and thought it was too much. But now, she felt that Xu deserved it. She should do what she should do and take actual action to retaliate against Xu. Zhao Kang paid the bill, the waiter and the manager left, and Yang Lu also said goodbye. I'm going to find a patient to get some blood. I'm leaving first. Yang Lu gave Zhao Kang a look, and then left quickly. Only Zhao Kang and Gao Furong were left. Zhao Kang approached Gao Furong, stretched out his hands and gently hugged her. Gao Furong did not move, allowing Zhao Kang to hug her. Then, Zhao Kang slowly kissed her lips. Furong, let's go to the hotel room upstairs. Okay. Gao Furong lowered her head, her face flushed, and responded softly, then let Zhao Kang lead her hand and walk out of the box. Behind her, a man wearing a hat followed quietly. At the door, Xu watched Gao Furong and Zhao Kang leave with an unusually cold look in his eyes. But he did not stop them. Because he wanted to make it happen, let the two have sex, and then take the evidence of Gao Furong's cheating, and at the critical moment, ruin her reputation. Xu took out his mobile phone and sent a message. Then he left the restaurant with Ning Feifei. Outside the hotel room, Zhao Kang and Gao Furong swiped the room card, and after entering the room, they hugged and nibbled impatiently. Then they took a shower. After taking a shower, the two entangled in the bed. Outside the door, Private Detective Tang Jun brought two big men, swiped the room card to open the door, and rushed into the room with a mobile phone that had already started recording a video. Zhao Kang and Gao Furong inside didn't react at all, and the three appeared in front of them, holding their mobile phones to shoot videos. Damn, I finally caught you, you bitch. Zhao Kang, who was lying on Gao Furong, turned his head, and Gao Furong's face also appeared in front of the three. Oh, sorry, it's a mistake. The three murderous people immediately apologized after seeing Zhao Kang and Gao Furong's faces, and left the room quickly without waiting for the two to react. Zhao Kang, who was horrified, hurriedly chased out wrapped in a bath towel, but he didn't even see the shadows of the three people. Brother Kang, what's going on? Gao Furong, wrapped in a bath towel, followed out from the door of the guest room, stretched out her hand to climb Zhao Kang's back, and exhaled like orchids. The soft and boneless palm touched Zhao Kang's heartstrings. Zhao Kang's blood was boiling, and he immediately regarded what happened just now as an accident, turned around and said, it should be a misunderstanding. Let's continue. Chapter 7. Gao Furong couldn't wait any longer. Hearing this, she took the initiative to put her arms around Zhao Kang's neck and gave him a kiss. Her calves even wrapped around Zhao Kang's waist. Zhao Kang responded impatiently and locked the door behind him. At the corner of the emergency passage, a half-camera was exposed, shining with a cold metallic light, freezing the pictures on the camera screen frame by frame. After the door was closed, Private Detective Tang Jun sneered and took back the camera, turned his head and spat. What a shameless bitch, not at home on the wedding night, and actually came out to hang out with other men. The younger brother who was filming behind him was also indignant. That's right. The big boss is so generous, and it's obvious that he is a man with a lot of money. She should be happy to marry such a boss, but she dares to cheat on him. She doesn't know what's good for her. If this were my wife, I would beat her to death. Tang Jun quickly watched the recorded video and nodded with satisfaction after seeing that the faces of the couple were clearly captured. You guys stay here, I'll call the big boss right now. Hello, boss. At the same time, Xu Yang in the Riverside Villa area picked up the phone. Good job, send me all the photos you took, keep watching this couple when they come out, and notify me as soon as there is any news. After hanging up the phone, he turned on the computer, and the video shot by Tang Jun had been sent over. As expected of a professional private detective, the clarity and sound quality of the recording equipment are comparable to those of film and television. Brother Kang, what's going on? The computer sounded a woman pinching her throat, and the light made Xu Yang's face pale. With a click, he clicked the mouse and browsed through the photos one by one. The more he looked, the colder his eyes became. From the moment he was reborn, he knew that Gao Furong would cheat on him. Although he had known it for a long time, Xu Yang still couldn't help being angry when he saw the video. He believed that he had never done anything to let Gao Furong down. But what about Gao Furong? Just because of Zhao Kang, not only did she cheat on him, but she also wanted to destroy his Xu family. Did the Xu family owe her and Zhao Kang? After an unknown amount of time, the computer screen went out, and the only light source in the room was the crystal chandelier above his head. The black screen reflected Xu Yang's handsome face, and his eyes flickered on that face. Finally, it was the antique wall clock in the room, and the hourly chimes pulled him out of his emotions. Xu Yang exhaled a breath of turbid air, his eyes regained clarity, and he created a new document on the computer. It has been planned that in this life, the Gao family and Zhao Kang and others will suffer the consequences of their own actions. Gao Furong has already taken the first step, and there is no reason for him to just wait and do nothing. The first thing to remember is the rich resources such as TV series, movies, big IPs, songs, etc. that will be popular and well known in the next 9 years. After that, it is the things that Crow taught him in prison and the future economic development direction predicted by Crow. Crow was his roommate during his 6 years in prison, an old man with grey hair and so mysterious that no one knew his real name. There is a chain of contempt everywhere in society, and naturally there is one in prison. Because of the charges of rape and intentional spread of infectious diseases, Xu Yang had a very difficult time in the first few months of imprisonment, and being isolated and harassed was commonplace. Many times, as long as he went to a place where no one was, he would be put in an iron barrel for no reason and beaten up by a crowd. Later, he finally caught the person who plotted against him, but when he fought back, he was accused of provoking trouble by others and was locked up in a solitary confinement room by the prison guards for corporal punishment. No matter how he explained, no one believed him. Just because he was a rapist, an antisocial criminal who maliciously spread infectious diseases. With such a charge, he was destined to be the most despised person in prison. But he didn't admit it. Why should he admit to something he didn't do? Maybe it was because of this unwillingness to accept his fate that his hard days finally came to an end. Crow came to him and asked if he was willing to be his roommate. In prisons with good conditions, there were 12 people in a dormitory. In his previous life, Xu Yang agreed without thinking. He looked at Crow's white hair and thought that it would be better to change the dormitory and face 11 older people than to face 11 fierce peers in the previous dormitory. But he never thought that Crow could live in a double room in prison. Since then, he and Crow have had an intersection. According to the inmates who came in earlier, Crow stayed in prison for a very long time and even witnessed the replacement of 2 wardens. No one knew what crime Crow had committed or how long his prison term was. They only knew that Crow's identity was unusual, because someone had seen with their own eyes that the previous warden, who was usually serious, smiled and lit a cigarette for Crow with a kind face. Anyone who has smoked knows that lighting a cigarette for someone is like a doorman opening a car door for a distinguished guest. Putting aside the mysterious identity of Crow, he is different from ordinary prisoners in terms of his knowledge and ability to read all English and German books. Looking back on the 6 years in prison, Xu Yang felt lucky. Not only did he meet a cellmate like Crow, but he also learned a lot from him, such as analyzing the reasons behind every economic policy on the morning news. For 6 years, he and Crow witnessed the rise of Hongyun energy with their own eyes, and talked about the interests involved in it for countless nights. It can be said that in this reborn life, no one knows the future development of Hongyun energy better than him. That's why he asked his father to invest all the available funds in Hongyun energy. Crow also gave him a favor of rebirth, and after he solves his own problems, he must repay this favor. Now, what Xu Yang has to do is to protect the Xu family first. After typing the last period, Xu Yang looked back at the wall clock. It was 10:30 in the evening. Without thinking, he called Xu Haixing. "Dad, I want to set up a media studio. I'm short of manpower. I think the team led by Yang Rui in the company is pretty good. Let him come to work here." The Xu family's film and television company is called Jiaxing Film and Television. The names come from his mother Zhu Jia and his father Xu Haixing. After his mother Zhu Jia passed away, his father supported such a large company alone. In the future, he will also take over the company from Xu Haixing and become the chairman of the board with a market value of billions of assets. It is precisely because of the amazing wealth of the Xu family that Gao Furong and Zhao Kang, a pair of dogs and men, will target the Xu family. Thinking of his previous life, Xu Yang's eyes gradually darkened. Xu Haixing already had a heart disease. He had worked hard for him for so many years. His body had long been unable to bear it, otherwise he would not have been angry to death by the Gao family's coquettish operations. In this life, with him here, the Gao family will never hurt his father in the slightest. Yang Rui's team. Xu Haixing's voice came from the phone. "You are wrong, right? Yang Rui is a stubborn person who can neither socialize nor adapt. What do you want him to do?" Chapter 8. In the company, his team has their worst performance. If you want such a person to manage your studio, aren't you waiting to lose money? Wait, Dad will pick a few better ones for you. Yang Rui has just worked at Jiaxing Film and Television for a year. He is considered a newcomer. Logically, Xu Yang should not remember his name. But Yang Rui's bad temper is notorious, and the whole company knows him. Xu Yang hurriedly said, "No need, just Yang Rui's team. Others don't know, but he knows it very well." Because he focused on discovering excellent film and television scripts and was unwilling to socialize and curry favor with investors, Yang Rui resigned from Jiaxing Film and Television after working for 3 years and became a director. He even mortgaged his house and car to take out a loan. Later, he made a splash with a historical drama adaptation, not only breaking into the film and television circle, but also making the actress who played the leading role in the drama win the Best Actress award. When Yang Rui emerged, Xu Yang had already been in prison. In prison, there was an hour of movie watching time after dinner, and there was another episode of TV series after watching the educational film. At that time, what he and his fellow inmates were most looking forward to was waiting to watch this TV series directed by Yang Rui. The influence of this TV series that can be shown in prison can be imagined. Talents like Yang Rui, no matter what, can't be missed. Xu Haixing didn't know this. He sighed and then advised, "It's not that Dad doesn't want to agree to you, it's really that Yang Rui's temper is easy to offend people, he is not suitable." Xu Yang chuckled on the other end of the phone. "I know, but Dad doesn't think highly of Yang Rui, so does he think highly of Fei Fei? Once this studio is established, I plan to recruit Fei Fei and let her lead Yang Rui's team. By the way, Dad, call the legal department to draft a contract and send it to Fei Fei's email. If it's too late, Fei Fei might regret it." When Ning Fei Fei was mentioned, Xu Yang's eyes finally showed a trace of tenderness. He was not afraid that Ning Fei Fei would regret it. After all, in his previous life, even if he was imprisoned, Fei Fei never gave up on him, and even made connections everywhere to help him bring some books about economics from outside. He said this so that Xu Haixing could quickly settle this matter. Sure enough, the next second he heard a decisive voice from the phone. "Good boy, you invited Fei Fei so quickly, you are great. Wait, Dad will call." Hearing this, Xu Yang breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you, Dad." Judging film and television will give scores to the leaders of each team. The higher the score, the higher the year-end bonus will be at the end of the year, and the less likely they will be disbanded and transferred by the company. Yang Rui's team is different. This year, the score given to him internally is less than 60, not even the passing line. In other words, Yang Rui's team is either facing dissolution or dismissal. Xu Yang established a studio, and it was bound to transfer people from within the company. If some good teams were transferred, the people in those teams would inevitably be dissatisfied, and complaints would arise over time, affecting the peace within the company. But there would be no such problems if Yang Rui's team was transferred. Xu Haixing was thinking, first let his son use Yang Rui, and after the studio is running stably, he will tilt the company's resources and feed it to the studio little by little, and he doesn't believe that the studio can't get up. Xu Haixing called assistant Wang. Xiao Wang, you immediately draft a contract for hiring a manager and send me the electronic version. Also, ask the business department to help. My son wants to set up a new studio. In an apartment far away on the other side of Jianghai City, Assistant Wang Lei nodded and bowed to the phone. Okay, Mr. Xu, don't worry, I'll notify you right away. However, as soon as he hung up the phone, his respectful face was replaced by deep doubts. Xu Yang, this unlearned licking dog, how did he think of setting up a studio? Wang Lei felt a little uneasy, thinking of what he heard from Xu Haixing yesterday. Xu Yang didn't seem to want to marry Gao Furong, but planned to marry Xu Haixing's favorite daughter-in-law. As for who this daughter-in-law is, he hasn't found out yet. But this won't work. Gao Furong had already agreed with him that once she married Xu Yang, she would get the seal of Jiaxing film and television, and the two of them would work together to secretly move the Xu family's funds and then divide them equally. The Xu family's company is worth 1 billion. 1 billion. Even if they only move 100 million, they can get 50 million. This 50 million is just a final step. How can he watch the money fly away? Wang Lei became more and more uneasy, and while drafting the contract, he called Gao Furong. But he didn't know that Gao Furong was busy making love with Zhao Kang at this time. In order not to be disturbed, she had turned off her phone long ago. When Gao Furong turned on her phone and saw many missed calls, it was already 10 o'clock in the morning of the next day. Stop talking nonsense. Zhao Kang came out of the shower room and saw Gao Furong snorted and hung up the phone. He licked his lips and leaned forward to protect Gao Furong, asking, "What's wrong? Who called you so early in the morning to make you angry?" As he spoke, his hand had already reached into the woman's pajamas. Gao Furong blushed shyly. "Nothing, Xu Yang is going to open a studio. Don't you think it's funny?" She and Zhao Kang were in high spirits, and didn't want to mention whether she would marry Xu Yang, so she took out the fact that Xu Yang opened a studio as a joke. "Open a studio?" Zhao Kang asked, pinching her pajamas hard. The suppressed blood surged again. Gao Furong turned around and hugged Zhao Kang. "That's right, he relies on the waste at home for everything, and he dares to open a studio. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at?" Her words that belittled Xu Yang were like a shot of stimulant, making Zhao Kang even happier, and his desire surged. "You're right, that waste is nothing, we won't mention him." After that, the unbearable voice sounded again in the room. Wang Lei said on the phone that Xu Yang didn't want to marry her, which was ridiculous just to hear. Don't you think about how long Xu Yang had licked her? The fact that Xu Yang licked her was a hot topic. Even when she graduated a year ago and returned to school, she could still hear alumni talking about the gossip that Xu Yang was pursuing her. She and Xu Yang were both famous, but unfortunately, Xu Yang was ridiculed as a dog licker. Although Xu Yang lost his temper at the wedding, in the end, he still put the ring on her hand obediently and even forced her to have sex with him immediately. If Xu Yang didn't want to marry her, how could he force her to have sex with him? She didn't believe Wang Lei's lies. As for opening a studio, har. Let's wait until Xu Yang, this waste, can also study abroad and come back with tens of millions of funds to start a business. Gao Furong, who was immersed in joy, didn't realize that Xu Yang, who used to lick her, didn't call her at all. An hour later, Zhao Kang and Gao Furong came out of the hotel. In the car not far away, a younger brother pushed Tang Jun, who was sleeping beside him, and said urgently, "Brother, look, the bitch is out." Out. Tang Jun suddenly woke up, and without even wiping his face, he grabbed the video recorder hanging around his neck and started filming. The younger brother looked at the time, and disgust flashed across his face. This woman is really heartless. She spent her wedding night with a bitch until noon the next day. Chapter 9. Linjiang Number 1, a villa area in Jianghai City where every inch of land is worth a lot of money. There is a house here, which is the wedding house that Xu Yang is going to marry Gao Furong. Only Xu Yang's name is on the property certificate. If he had not been reborn and returned, Gao Furong's name should have been added to the property certificate after the wedding and the certificate. But now, Xu Yang has sold the house, and all the money from the sale has been invested in Hongyun Energy's shares. A month later, the buyer will come to collect their house. At this time, Xu Yang was packing some luggage and asked the moving company to send it to his father Xu Haixing's residence. "Sir, is this the last piece of luggage?" Xu Yang nodded. "Yes, that's all for today." Just as he said that, the mobile phone in his pocket vibrated, and he took it out and saw that it was a message from Tang Jun. "Boss, the couple came out of their hotel." There was also a video below. Seeing this, Xu Yang's lips curled up with a sneer. After the people from the moving company left, the house was quiet. Xu Yang sat on the sofa, typing on the computer. Not long after, Gao Furong came back. She was wearing a high-necked shirt in June, and she didn't know what she was covering up. When she saw Xu Yang on the sofa, she didn't say a word, just a clang sound. She threw her handbag and car keys on the glass coffee table, making a crisp collision sound, and then kicked her high heels, one here and one there. Not only did the clean and tidy hall suddenly become messy, but the house was also full of the noise of her smashing things. Gao Furong did this on purpose, of course. Because she didn't know how to explain that she didn't come home last night, and she was too lazy to make excuses. As long as she turned the tables and put on an angry look, Xu Yang, the dog who licked her, would be at a loss, fearing that she would get angry and hurt herself. It was too late to coax her humbly, so how could he remember that she didn't come home at night? Gao Furong thought as a matter of course, leaned on the sofa, and counted down to 3 in her mind. In the past, after 3 counts, Xu Yang would hang up in a hurry even if he was on the phone with his father, and try to coax her in every way. 3, 2, 1. The expected footsteps did not come, and the hall was surprisingly quiet. Gao Furong was stunned and turned to look at Xu Yang, who was sitting not far away. Why was he still looking at his broken computer? The anger of being ignored rushed to her head, and Gao Furong shouted, "Xu Yang, I'm angry, can't you see? Come and coax her." Xu Yang didn't even raise his head. Oh. This cold answer made Gao Furong even more unhappy. Is Xu Yang bold? Dare to perfunctory her like this? Believe it or not, she will not marry. Xu Yang, didn't you hear me? Why don't you come and apologize to me? Yesterday you made me kneel in front of so many people, ruined the wedding, and suspended my Supreme VIP card. That's fine, but why didn't you ask for my opinion before setting up the studio? What do you mean? Am I not worthy of knowing this? You were not like this when you were pursuing me. You won't pretend now that you are about to get the marriage certificate, right? I am really blind to fall for a hypocrite like you. She has not forgotten that she was forced to kneel to Xu Yang by relatives at the wedding, and the contempt in the waiter's eyes when her card was suspended after paying. All these unbearable and humiliating things were caused by Xu Yang. The more Gao Furong thought about it, the angrier she became, and the more she felt that her best friend Yarnlu was right. Xu Yang just felt that he had already got her and was unwilling to spend money on her. But, forget it. Since he wanted to marry her, Xu Yang should honestly take out all his property and give it to her for safekeeping, and any expenditure should be approved by her. How much does it cost to open a studio? Xu Yang made up his mind without saying a word. Isn't that squandering her money? The living room seemed empty after some large furniture was moved away. Gao Furong's sharp voice echoed, making Xu Yang unable to work. With a click, Xu Yang closed the computer. Enough. His voice was sharp, and his eyes were filled with murder. How could Gao Furong have the nerve to care whether she opened a studio or not? The blood feud in his previous life flashed through his mind like a revolving lantern. He really wanted to peel Gao Furong's skin. At this time, Xu Yang's anger suddenly extinguished, and he suddenly thought of a question. He only talked to Xu Haixing about opening a studio. How could Gao Furong know? Could it be that there were people bribed by Gao Furong around Xu Haixing? Xu Yang took a deep breath and was thinking about how to get the question, but at this moment he saw Gao Furong's bare fingers. He changed the subject. Where is the wedding ring I put on you? In order to marry Gao Furong, he spent a lot of money on the wedding ring. The pigeon blood red diamond on the wedding ring is 9 carats, the only one in the whole Jianghai city. Speaking of the wedding ring, Gao Furong looked down and was surprised to find that her hand, which should have been wearing a ring, was empty. It turned out that when she was doing things with Zhao Kang last night, she felt that the ring was in the way, so she took it off and threw it into her bag. Thinking of this, she didn't care about being angry, and hurriedly grabbed the bag to search. Until she saw the ring lying at the bottom of the bag, she was relieved. Gao Furong took out the ring and laughed dryly. This ring is too expensive. I put it in my bag because I was afraid of losing it. It's good that it's still there. Xu Yang smiled slyly. After all, this ring is worth more than 6 million. More than 6 million. Gao Furong shouted in surprise after hearing this number. Xu Yang actually put a ring worth more than 6 million on her. Xu Yang stared at her face intently. Yes, don't you like it? It just so happens that I also think this ring is not good looking. If you don't like it, don't wear it. I'll buy you a more unique one. The number of more than 6 million is just enough to make up for Gao Xiaojuan's deficit. If Gao Furong has no idea, this ring is just a ring. But if she has an idea, he will buy a unique silver handcuff to keep her in tears for the rest of her life. He said that in this life, he would kill Gao Furong and Zhao Kang, the couple. Gao Furong was so happy that she couldn't get angry. She quickly put the ring on her hand and shook it in front of her eyes. The light in the room made the diamond ring cut into a heart-shape shine brightly, and the broken light flickered. If this ring is not beautiful enough, what kind of ring is beautiful? Xu Yang really loves her. Otherwise, why do you think this ring is still not beautiful enough? A great sense of vanity enveloped Gao Furong's heart, but she suppressed her smile and pretended to be disgusted. It really doesn't look good when I wear it, then you change it for me. A unique one. Xu Yang wanted to change her a new one, so does this ring not need it? Since it is not needed, why not sell it for money? It just so happens that her brother's company is about to check the accounts, and Xu Yang's remaining 5 million betrothal gifts have not yet arrived. But she didn't want to share a room with Xu Yang to get the marriage certificate. If she really had to wait until the money arrived, her brother's affairs would probably have been exposed long ago. Gao Furong put the Supreme VIP card and the studio behind her, and went upstairs happily, not noticing the cold eyes of Xu Yang behind her. TSK. Seeing the door upstairs closed, Xu Yang snorted and quickly put the computer into his bag. He would be so angry if he had to stay in the same room with a woman who had stained her body. Xu Yang carried his things and walked away. Just as he was about to go out, he turned back and picked up the Porsche car key that he had given to Gao Furong on the coffee table. His things must not be given to this woman for free. Sell them and use the money to invest in his studio. Chapter 10. Fei Fei, I have reserved a table at Zijin restaurant. I will treat you to lunch at noon. After sending a voice message, Xu Yang started the car and drove towards the CBD in the city center. Zijin restaurant has a long history in Jianghai city. From childhood to adulthood, whenever Xu Haixing went to a restaurant, he would definitely bring Xu Yang here. Over time, he was also considered a VIP customer here. When he was pursuing Gao Furong before, Xu Yang also brought her here. But Zijin restaurant is very particular about the show. Even if there are only 2 people eating, they have to set up a pair of serving chopsticks. Just because Gao Furong couldn't tell which pair of serving chopsticks were serving chopsticks, Xu Yang never came here to eat again. This time, he will not accommodate others and wrong himself. And more importantly, Ning Feifei's company is near Zijin restaurant. Thinking that after being imprisoned in the previous life, Ning Feifei still unswervingly helped him appeal to the court and seek justice for him, Xu Yang wanted to marry Ning Feifei home immediately. Such a good woman, missed as a lifetime. It was still early when he entered the restaurant, so he ordered the dishes in advance. Cherry meat, squirrel mandarin fish, borscht, that's all. Okay, sir. With the memory of the previous 9 years, Xu Yang's mind was a little confused. When he entered here, he even felt like he was in another world. But when he saw the menu, he still accurately reported the name of Ning Feifei's favorite dish. This is because Ning Feifei had participated in 2/3 of his life in the past 30 years. Some things have been engraved in his bones and cannot be forgotten. The waiter pushed the dining cart and served the dishes one by one. A moment later, Ning Feifei also came. Miss, please come in. Xu Yang looked up when he heard the voice and saw Ning Feifei coming towards him. The woman who came in had delicate features, a tall figure, and long hair like a waterfall. The light blue hip skirt on her body outlined her graceful curves. The two calves under the skirt were slender and straight. The woman in high heels walked step by step, as if stepping on Xu Yang's heart. "I'm late, you have been waiting for a long time, right?" Ning Feifei sat down next to Xu Yang, and when she raised her hand to lift her long hair, she brought a gust of fragrant wind. Smelling the faint fragrance of his daughter, Xu Yang's impetuous heart suddenly calmed down. "How could it be? You came just in time. Do you like these dishes?" As he said, he pointed to the dishes on the table. There were already 3 hot dishes, 1 cold dish, 1 dessert, and a bowl of soup on the table. Ning Feifei was stunned. "Is 6 dishes too much? Have you invited anyone else?" "No, just you and me." Hearing this, Ning Feifei lowered her eyes and smiled softly, her smile bright as a flower in the gentle sunlight. "I love all these dishes. If you can't finish them, just pack them up." "Pack them up?" Xu Yang paused, and suddenly remembered the past. His father was also a farmer before he made his fortune. Farmers cherish food the most. From childhood to adulthood, the words Xu Yang heard the most were "don't waste food" and "cherishing food is a virtue." However, when he started pursuing Gao Furong and invited Gao's family to dinner for the first time, he still kept the habit of packing up the food he couldn't finish, but he was stopped by Gao Furong, saying that who would want food that had been eaten, how embarrassing it would be to pack it up. Just like that, he gradually forgot his father's teachings, became unrecognizable, and became a person that he couldn't even recognize himself. And at this moment, Ning Feifei's words made him find himself again. Xu Yang retracted his thoughts, and only felt that she was more dazzling in front of him. He smiled. "Okay, if we can't finish it, we'll pack it up." Soon, the wine and the meal were full. Xu Yang took out the printed work contract from his bag, which he had found a printing shop on the way here. "Feifei, take a look at this contract. If you are not satisfied with the salary and benefits, just mention it, and I will change it according to your request." Hearing this, Ning Feifei picked up the contract and read, "Party A has decided to hire Party B Ning Feifei as the general manager of Feiyang Film and Television Studio after review." She widened her eyes and looked at Xu Yang in surprise. Didn't it agree that it was a manager? Why did it become a general manager now? They are all managers, what's the difference? Xu Yang shrugged indifferently. The electronic document sent by his father was a manager, but he thought about it and changed it to a general manager. Ning Feifei shook her head. "I can't do it, and I'm the general manager. What are you?" "Deputy general manager." Xu Yang took out a pen and put it in Ning Feifei's hand. "Feiyang Film and Television Studio has been established, and I have found the staff for you. It only needs a general manager to take the helm. If you don't come, there is no point in establishing this studio." He looked down into Ning Feifei's eyes that burst with joy, and felt a hint of sweetness for the first time in a long time. Who knew that the next second, Ning Feifei pushed the pen and the contract back. "I still can't sign." "Why?" Xu Yang felt like someone had poured a basin of cold water on his head. Ning Feifei reached out and flicked his forehead with her white and tender fingers. "Are you stupid? I haven't resigned from the company yet. If people know that I signed a new contract before resigning, I will have to pay the company a huge penalty. So that's how it is." Xu Yang's heart was like a roller coaster. He touched his forehead and breathed a sigh of relief, and then said, "No, it's not that I can't afford this penalty. It's not a question of whether I can afford it or not. Such a large sum of money has to be spent, why not spend it on the studio? Besides, Feiyang Film and Television Studio has just been established and is in need of funds. This is a good way to keep the money within the family." Ning Feifei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I know you have money, okay. I've read the contract, there's no problem at all. At the latest, I can leave the company and become the general manager of your studio in 1 month, don't worry." Xu Yang smiled and corrected her. "It's not mine, it's our Feiyang Film and Television Studio." Xu Yang's mother Zhu Jia was a well-known female star when she was young. She looked good. After she got married, she retired from the film industry and focused on taking care of her husband and children. As Zhu Jia's child, Xu Yang's appearance is naturally good. At this moment, he walked out of the haze created by Gao Furong, like a piece of bright jade that shook off the dust. Not only was he calm and composed, but his eyes also had a bit of strategic brilliance. When being stared at by these eyes, Ning Feifei lost her mind for a moment and almost sank into this warm swamp. Realizing this, Ning Feifei quickly looked away and said coquettishly, "Who allowed you to register a studio with my name?" As she spoke, a blush appeared on her cheeks. Xu Yang laughed. "I didn't say that the Fei and Fei Yang film and television studio is the Fei in your name, you said it yourself." "You?" Ning Feifei reacted immediately, angry and embarrassed, and finally didn't know what to say, so she simply picked up her handbag. "I don't want to bother with you, I'm going back to the company first." She walked very fast, and her back looked a bit like she was running away at first glance. Xu Yang couldn't help laughing when he saw this. Ning Feifei did a lot for him in his previous life. In this life, he will never let this good woman down again. He walked out of Zijin restaurant and drove straight to Jiaxing Film and Television Building. In addition to meeting Yang Rui, a person like him, he also had to confirm who Gao Furong and Zhao Kang had planted next to Xu Haixing. Chapter 11. Before driving, Xu Yang did not forget to call Tang Jun. "Do you have a micro camera?" "That's good. Bring your micro camera and come to Jiaxing Film and Television Building now." In order to better monitor Gao Furong and Zhao Kang, Xu Yang spent money without hesitation, which made Tang Jun rush to Jiaxing Film and Television Building as soon as he received the call. Soon, the two met in a cafe opposite the building. After learning how to use the micro camera from Tang Jun, Xu Yang entered the building. At the same time, a heated debate was going on in the chairman's modestly decorated office. "You invested all 300 million into Hongyun Energy. Old Xu, are you getting senile?" In front of Xu Haixing stood a middle-aged man with a big belly and slicked hair. At the moment, he was very upset and slapped the table in front of him. "They say you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. I won't stop you from buying stocks, but you only bought one stock with 300 million. If the stock falls, all 300 million will be wasted. Tell me honestly, did your son ask you to buy it? Listen to my advice, your son is not cut out for business, and you should sell all the 300 million shares you have now while there is still time, otherwise you won't even have a place to cry when Hongyun Energy closes." It's acceptable to say that he is wrong. But, when Xu Yang was criticized, Xu Haixing immediately became unhappy. "Old Qian, you're going too far." Xu Haixing's face turned cold. "I wanted to buy this stock myself, it has nothing to do with my son. Besides, these 300 million are my own dividends. If the stock price falls, it is my own money that is wasted, not you. Do you need to worry about me?" Jiaxing Film and Television was founded by Zhu Jiao and Xu Haixing, and the company's shares were later distributed after it went public. Xu Haixing and Xu Yang each hold 40% of the shares, and the remaining 20% are held by 8 other shareholders. In other words, the right to speak for Jiaxing Film and Television lies entirely with the Xu father and son, and the decisions of the other 8 shareholders have no effect at all. Even if Xu Haixing used the company's money to buy stocks, the shareholders would not dare to say anything, not to mention that he was spending his own money now. Lao Qian, one of the 8 small shareholders, was choked and was stunned for a while before he made up for it. "Old Xu, that's not what I meant. I just have some information. If you trust me, invest all the remaining money you have into Guangda Energy." Xu Haixing asked, "What do you mean?" Old Qian patted his chest with a solemn oath. "My son is the secretary of the director. He heard from the director himself that the higher-ups are planning to develop green energy and have already drawn up a list of companies to support it. Guangda Energy is one of them. As for Hongyun, the company you invested in, it is not on the list at all. That's why I suggest you invest in Guangda. Invest as much as you can. You will definitely make money. In addition to looking at the market when buying stocks, sometimes you also have to look at the above." After hearing what he said, Xu Haixing was undecided. As far as he knew, Hongyun Energy's stock had been rising, but many of the buyers were retail investors, large companies, experienced investors, and investment bankers and speculators did not seem to be optimistic about this stock. This means that in the eyes of more people, the chances of this stock making big money are slim. If it is true as Lao Qian said, there is no Hongyun in the supported list, then this stock will fall into his hands sooner or later. Seeing that he was hesitant, Old Qian added fuel to the fire. "Old Xu, my son became the secretary of the director at the age of 26. His information is more accurate than that of outsiders. Moreover, I have also voted for Guangda. If this information is false, would I dare to vote in?" Xu Haixing thought quickly, finally gritted his teeth, and was about to speak. This news is fake. Xu Yang pushed the door open and walked in. He arrived at the right time and listened to what Lao Qian said from beginning to end. When Xu Haixing saw that it was him, his eyes lit up and he said excitedly, "Son, why are you here?" Since he started pursuing Gao Furong, my son hasn't set foot in the company for 2 years. Unlike Xu Haixing's joy, there was a flash of displeasure in Lao Qian's eyes. How dare Xu Yang, a useless guy who is uneducated and only cares about women, doubt the news brought by his son? What brings Master Xu here? Old Qian said sarcastically, "Mr. Xu, don't talk nonsense. How can this confirmed news be false? But you, as a son, actually tricked your father into buying a stock that lost money. I think you are really bewitched." Xu Haixing suddenly came to his senses. How can you talk like that? Xu Yang was not angry when being ridiculed. Uncle Qian, how are you? What do you mean? When Lao Qian thought that old Xu would hand over Jiaxing film and television to the good-for-nothing Xu Yang in the future, and he would have to call Xu Yang boss, he couldn't swallow this. Uncle Qian doesn't seem satisfied with what I said. Xu Yang kindly reminded, but the younger generation still has to remind you that anything is possible before the document comes down. Uncle Qian, please don't believe any rumors. By the way, how much money did Uncle Qian invest in Guangda Energy? His son heard what the director said with his own ears. How could it be false? Lao Qian was dismissive of his words. I'm not as generous as Lao Xu, who only invested 70 million. Don't look at my small investment, but it's definitely a sure win. After saying this, he looked at Xu Haixing, shook his head and sighed. Old Xu, let me be frank. You don't believe my son, a secretary of a department director, but insist on believing your son. I have tried my best to persuade you, but you insist on throwing your hat in the ring. Don't regret it when all your efforts are in vain. His words were an advice to Xu Haixing to think twice, but his implicit words showed his disdain for Xu Yang being not as good as his son. Xu Haixing got angry when he heard this. You are still saying this in advance. The document hasn't been issued yet. Aren't you afraid that your big talk will backfire? Seeing his father's face flushed red, Xu Yang hurried forward and patted Xu Haixing on the back. Dad, don't be angry. My dad has a bad heart to begin with. What will happen if he gets too angry? Old Qian was afraid that Xu Haixing would get sick from anger, but he couldn't swallow his anger, so he could only say dryly, "Okay, vote for whoever you want." After saying that, he turned around and left angrily, snorting disdainfully as he walked out the door. Your kindness is taken for granted, right? Just wait and see, sooner or later the Xu family father and son will pay the price for their stupidity. Xu Yang helped Xu Haixing sit down and whispered, Dad, just trust me once. This time, I will never let you down. In fact, what Lao Qian said was not false, but Lao Qian did not know that Guangda Energy would soon face an unprecedented scandal. As soon as the scandal broke out, the name of Guangda Energy was immediately crossed out from the list and replaced by Hongyun Energy. He recalled carefully that the scandal of Guangda Energy broke out at the end of this month. Xu Haixing took a sip of warm water and calmed down. Silly child, how could Dad not believe you? Xu Haixing was angry because Lao Qian always compared Xu Yang with his son. Chapter 12. What kind of person is Lao Qian's son? Does he really think that others don't know how his son got the position of secretary to the director? He patted the back of Xu Yang's hand and asked, But you just said that Lao Qian's news was false. What's going on? This, I'm afraid it's hard to explain in a few words. Xu Yang pondered and looked around Xu Haixing's office. He walked forward and his eyes fell on a metal pen holder facing the computer desk. Dad, if you have any concerns, just wait and see. Even if Hongyun Energy's stock price drops, don't rush to sell it. As long as you make it through the end of this month, everything will be clear. He stopped in front of the shelf where the pen holders were placed and quietly attached the micro camera to it. The more Xu Haixing listened, the more he felt something was wrong. Then can we still buy Guangda Energy's shares? Don't buy it, don't buy it. Xu Yang turned around, his eyes full of seriousness. Okay, then I won't buy it. It was only 300 million yuan, so if he lost it, he lost it. Xu Haixing thought, anyway, he had left 200 million yuan for his son, and if he didn't touch the 200 million yuan, he wouldn't have any worries. By the way, Dad. Just as Xu Yang was about to speak, he saw a piece of clothes leaking out of the door that Lao Qian had left. He immediately shouted, Who's at the door? The sudden rise in volume startled Xu Haixing, and they both looked towards the door. The European-style carved wooden door opened, and a young man wearing black-framed glasses came in with a document in his arms. He smiled and said, "Boss Shu, little Boss Shu, I'm here to deliver the documents to the Ministry of Industry." Seeing the person coming, Xu Haixing breathed a sigh of relief. "It's Xiao Wang, come in." Wang Lei smiled awkwardly, walked forward with evasive eyes and put down the documents. Xu Yang stared straight at Wang Lei's back, his sharp eyes seemed to want to dig 2 holes in his body. It's this pair of black-framed glasses. He would never remember wrongly that the person who stole the company seal, colluded with Gao Furong, forged his father's signature, and secretly embezzled company funds in his previous life was Wang Lei in front of him. Xu Yang clenched his hands in his pockets into fists. "By the way, Dad, I want to take the things in the safe." Xu Haixing looked a little confused, but still nodded. "Okay, then take it." As he said that, he waved his hand and sent Wang Lei away. "Go down first and close the door." "Oh, okay, Mr. Xu." Wang Lei's curiosity took root. What was in the safe? Was it what he wanted? Click. The sound of the lock being locked was heard, and a heavy European-style carved wooden door immediately blocked out the sound in the office. Even if Wang Lei wanted to listen, he could not hear it. Xu Haixing opened the safe and took out an amulet whose color was no longer bright. "What do you want the amulet for?" When Xu Yang was a freshman, Xu Haixing suddenly suffered a heart attack and stayed in the hospital for more than 2 months. Xu Yang was very worried, so he went up the mountain at night and asked the master of Lingyan Temple for a blessed amulet. Coincidentally, just a few days after Xu Haixing wore the amulet, the doctor announced that he could be discharged from the hospital. Later, he kept the amulet in the company's safe until today. Xu Yang took the item and chuckled, "I'm just planning to ask for a new one for you some other day." Having found Gao Furong's accomplice, Xu Yang couldn't wait to implement his plan. After exchanging a few pleasantries with Xu Haixing, he changed the subject. "Dad, you go ahead and do your work. I'll go talk to Yang Rui." After saying that, he walked out of the office. There was a conference room next to his father's office, but there was no meeting going on at the moment. Seriously speaking, there are only his father and him on this floor. The floor under his feet was polished to a mirror-like shine. Xu Yang stared at the abrupt black spot on the floor at the corner. A sneer appeared at the corner of his lips. He changed his mind and walked towards the toilet. "Hua la la." Wang Lei tiptoed into the toilet cubicle and heard the sound of water. The next second, there was the rustling sound of clothes rubbing against each other, followed by Xu Yang's faint voice, "Oh, Dad is really something. The password to the safe is actually Mom's birthday. He doesn't even know to change it." As he spoke, Xu Yang had already stood in front of the sink, and the sound of water completely drowned out his mumblings. Wang Lei didn't dare come out of the cubicle until the toilet was completely quiet. Xu Yang's mother's birthday. A dark look flashed in his eyes, and he immediately took out his cell phone and sent a text message to Gao Furong. Little did they know that at the same time, Xu Yang stood in front of the window of the outstanding employees, took a photo of Wang Lei and sent it to Tang Jun, and called. "Did you see the picture I sent you? Very good. Is there a signal from the tiny camera you gave me? Is the picture clear? Facing the computer desk. Very good, find someone to keep an eye on this camera and save all the recorded images. If you see the person in the photo approaching the computer desk, notify me immediately." After hanging up the phone, Xu Yang transferred 10,000 yuan to Tang Jun without hesitation. The safe is right under the computer desk, but he just doesn't believe that even though the password has been delivered to Wang Lei, he still won't take action. But Wang Lei couldn't figure it out. Apart from a talisman, there might be only money left in his father's safe, right? Linjiang number 1. Gao Furong changed her clothes and covered the ambiguous marks on her neck with makeup. After being busy for half an hour, my stomach started to growl. When I looked at the time, it was already time for lunch. At this time, according to Xu Yang's temperament, he should prepare lunch obediently and call her downstairs to eat. But considering that Xu Yang was planning to buy her a new ring, Gao Furong decided that she didn't need Xu Yang to call her. She would give Xu Yang face and go downstairs to eat on her own initiative. But when she quickly walked down the stairs, she was stunned to see the deserted and quiet hall. Where is the aroma of the dishes, and where is Xu Yang who is helping her serve rice with an apron on? Xu Yang. Gao Furong rushed into the kitchen and the bathroom in disbelief, and almost searched the entire hall, but still no sign of Xu Yang. Where are the people? She took out her cell phone and dialed the number called Dead Liquor. Unexpectedly, what awaited her was only an electronic voice. "Sorry, the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable, please call again later." Gao Furong didn't know that Xu Yan had blocked her number a long time ago. After being beaten several times, Gao Furong could no longer bear it and smashed her phone on the sofa, cursing. "Damn Xu Yan, he didn't even make lunch. Well, if he dares to ignore me like this, don't blame me for not coming back tonight." As she said that, she went to look for the Porsche keys in her bag. Unpleasant things happen one after another. "Where are my car keys?" Gao Furong was annoyed and emptied out everything in the bag, but still couldn't find the car keys. Damn it, she clearly remembered putting the keys in her bag. Why did they disappear out of nowhere? Could it be that there was a thief in the house? Confused, she stood up and looked around, only to find that the hall was much emptier. The curved screen TV and double-door refrigerator were gone. "Oh no, we were robbed." Gao Furong took out her phone and was about to call Yarnlu when she received a message from Wang Lei. Chapter 13. Xu Yang's mother's birthday. After reading the message on the phone, Gao Furong frowned. This matter really puzzled her. When Xu Yang was pursuing her, he also mentioned his mother, but Gao Furong didn't want to listen at all and just nodded perfunctorily every time. She called Wang Lei and said, "I asked you to find a way to get Xu Haixing's seal, and you asked about Xu Yang's mother's birthday. Are you serious about your work?" Wang Lei's excited voice came over the phone. "Listen to me, Xu Haixing's seal may be kept in the safe in the office, and the password of the safe is Xu Yang's mother's birthday. Hurry up and tell me the password so I can open the safe. By the way, Xu Yang came to the company today. If there is no seal in the safe, it means that Xu Yang has taken it. You have to hurry up, otherwise Xu Haixing will use all his money to buy stocks." Xu Yang went to the company? Gao Furong was furious. What is Xu Yang doing in the company? He didn't even stay at home to cook for her, leaving her starving at home. How bold. You don't know. Xu Yang plans to set up a studio. As he was speaking, a noise came from the other end of the phone, and someone seemed to be calling Wang Lei's name, followed by Wang Lei's shout, "Here, here. I won't say any more to you. Just send me your birthday message. I'm going to get busy." After a burst of busy tones, Wang Lei hung up the phone without even saying the "wait" in Gao Furong's throat. Gao Furong threw her phone down in frustration and cursed, "You licker, you still dare to set up a studio. The Xu family's money will be hers sooner or later. How could Xu Yang set up a studio without her consent? She couldn't just watch Xu Yang spend all her money. We can't wait any longer, we have to urge Yarnlu to get the patient's blood." Gao Furong picked up the phone again, and a call from her brother Gao Xiaojun suddenly popped up on the screen. She answered the call impatiently. "Why are you calling me?" "Sister, my company is going to audit the accounts. Please think of a solution for me. If I can't make up for the deficit, I will really go to jail." "Sister, you are my biological sister, you can't just watch me go to jail." "So sudden?" Gao Furong said anxiously, "Isn't it still 2 days before the audit? Why is it suddenly brought forward now?" Gao Xiaojun on the other end of the phone was equally anxious. "I don't know either. Anyway, my colleagues in the finance department have informed me." "Sister, 6 million, only 6 million. If you can coax Xu Yang, you can get the money. You have to help me. 6 million, 6 million. Gao Xiaojun cried out, and the sound lingered in Gao Furong's ears like a spell, making her temples throb. She looked down at the sparkling diamond ring on her hand and yelled into the phone, "Enough." The crying on the phone suddenly stopped. Gao Furong took a deep breath and said, "I'll find a way to deal with the 6 million. Drive to Linjiang number 1 to pick me up now." She didn't bother to care about the burglary at home. In the past, Xu Yang had always handled such matters. As for the lost Porsche key, as long as she acted coquettishly, Xu Yang would definitely buy her a new one. The most urgent task is to resolve Gao Xiaojun's issue first. After getting into Gao Xiaojun's car, Gao Furong finally had the chance to call Gao Xiaojun again. She buckled her seatbelt and asked unhappily, "What's going on with your company suddenly checking its accounts?" Gao Xiaojun had no choice but to tell the truth. An hour ago, Gao Xiaojun suddenly received news that his goddess, who had dreams of becoming a star, suddenly submitted her resignation letter to the company. The goddess's company was the client of his company. Because of business cooperation, Gao Xiaojun had contact with the team led by the goddess. He spent some money to bribe the goddess's subordinates. It was this subordinate who told him the news of the goddess' resignation. If the goddess resigns, won't he never see her again? Thinking of this, Gao Xiaojun didn't care about his work. He found someone to cover for him and drove to the downstairs of the goddess company. In the coffee shop, Gao Xiaojun looked outside the door with anticipation. Soon, a slender figure pushed the door open and walked in. Seeing a face that could rival a movie star, Gao Xiaojun waved happily, "Sister Fei, this." He pulled out the chair attentively. The closer the goddess's pretty figure came, the more his heart beat. Goddess Ning Feifei was the woman he fell in love with at first sight when he was discussing cooperation with the company. Not only was she outstanding in appearance, but she was also first class in ability. She was only 3 years older than him, but she had already become a manager. That would be fine, but the key point is that when they first discussed the cooperation, the goddess shyly looked away every time she looked at him. The goddess must like him, but she is too shy to say it out loud. He knows what the goddess is thinking. Ning Feifei stopped in front of the chair politely, "Mr. Gao, it's working time now. Did you ask me to come here to discuss work? Since we're talking about work, why don't you go to the company? How can I be alone with the goddess I think about day and night after I start working in the company?" Gao Xiaojun licked his dry lips and said with a smile, "It's not about work, I just want to treat Sister Fei to a cup of coffee." "Mr. Gao, just call me Miss Ning." Ning Feifei said, "Besides, I will have to resign soon. Someone else will be in charge of the cooperation with your company in the future. The resignation procedures are also quite complicated. I am in a hurry to deal with them. If we don't talk about work, I am afraid I have to excuse myself." To be honest, when Ning Feifei received the news that Gao Xiaojun wanted to meet her, she didn't want to pay any attention to it at all. But she still had cooperation with Gao Xiaojun's company, and not meeting might affect the cooperation. After thinking about it, she finally agreed. As a result, Gao Xiaojun came but didn't talk about work. So what else is there to talk about? Seeing that she was about to leave, Gao Xiaojun hurriedly stopped her. "Sister Fei, wait a minute. I heard that you are going to resign, so I want to ask you what's wrong. Is someone in the company giving you trouble, or have you found a new job? If you haven't found one, how about coming to our company? As long as you come, I will make sure that the company gives you a position as a department manager. What do you think?" He patted his chest and made a solemn promise, and his heroic words attracted the attention of people in the coffee shop. Ning Feifei smiled politely, but felt a little puzzled. She had just submitted her resignation letter half an hour ago, and many of her colleagues had not yet figured out the situation. Why was Gao Xiaojun from Party B so well informed? Although she was puzzled, she shook her head and said, "No one is trying to embarrass me. I just want to change my job to a new one." "What industry?" Gao Xiaojun asked persistently. "Sister Fei, are you really going to change your career and become a star? Don't you have no resources?" Damn it, who got ahead of him and used the resources to trick the goddess away? For some reason, Gao Xiaojun felt a little uneasy. Ning Feifei frowned. It was her freedom to change careers, but why did she have to get Gao Xiaojun's consent when she wanted to become a star? Chapter 14. Ning Feifei suppressed her displeasure and said, "Is there anything else? If there is nothing else, I have to go back to the company first." After saying that, she walked away. How can you let her go? When Gao Xiaojun saw it, he quickly reached out and grabbed the goddess' wrist, and greedily touched her smooth and soft back of the hand. "Don't go, Sister Fei." Since Sister Fei didn't deny it, are you really planning to change your career and become a celebrity? Sister Fei, tell me what your plans are for the future. If you don't have any connections, tell me. I have plenty of resources. And to be honest, I have always been very optimistic about you, Sister Fei. Gao Xiaojun smiled proudly. It's good for the goddess to change her career. I heard that in the entertainment industry, resources are more plentiful than valuable, and it is extremely difficult for newcomers to make a name for themselves. So in order to get resources, those female stars are willing to do anything. With the Shu family's resources, he has the goddess's soft spot. The goddess is good in everything except taking the initiative. Looking at the goddess's pretty face, he forgave her for not taking the initiative. As long as she learned her lesson and took the initiative to please him, he wouldn't mind giving her some resources to make her happy. He was distracted. Unexpectedly, the softness in her hand broke free in an instant. Ning Feifei skillfully pulled back her hand and kept some distance. When discussing cooperation a few times before, Gao Xiaojun wanted to make some moves. Ning Feifei's face turned cold. Since Mr. Gao wants to know the reason why I changed my career, I won't hide it. A new studio wants to hire me as the general manager. The conditions are good and I can't refuse. If Mr. Gao still wants to cooperate with the company will send a new person to take over in a week. I have something else to do. I'm leaving now. Her words were like a slap in the face of Gao Xiaojun. Before this, Gao Xiaojun had vowed to give her a position as a department manager. Unexpectedly, Ning Feifei changed her career and became the general manager. Gao Xiaojun was unwilling to let her go, so he stopped her and said, "Wait." There was already some impatience on Ning Feifei's face, and her pretty face with anger was even more beautiful, that made people unable to look away. "What else do you want?" Gao Xiaojun was embarrassed and quickly thought of an excuse. "It's like this, my birthday is coming soon, we can at least cooperate with each other. Even if we don't cooperate in the future, we can still be friends. I want to invite you to my birthday party." "Sister Fei, this is a critical moment for our cooperation. You don't want it to end suddenly halfway through, right?" What a shameless woman, how could she be the general manager? I don't know how he got the position of general manager. Let her be aloof for a while. After the birthday party, he will use the Shu family's resources to open this woman's eyes. He just couldn't believe it. Seeing the resources in his hands, wouldn't this woman come up to lick him eagerly? Thinking of this, Gao Xiaojun felt secretly proud. Hearing the threat in his words, Ning Feifei frowned slightly, and finally nodded helplessly. "Okay, I will go to wish you a happy birthday on your birthday." After saying that, she didn't want to stay any longer and left the cafe. Looking at her leaving figure, Gao Xiaojun felt more and more unwilling, and finally snorted coldly, thinking, "Isn't it because of vanity that you want to be a star? Isn't it just a prostitute? Why are you pretending to be noble after you've become a prostitute, bitch?" Sooner or later, he will want Ning Feifei to be under him. Before I could calm down the restlessness in my heart, the phone in my pocket rang. As soon as I picked up the phone, I heard a roar from the other side. "Gao Xiaojun, where the hell have you been? Someone suddenly came to inspect, and everyone was at their post except you. Do you still want to work?" The roar almost pierced Gao Xiaojun's eardrums through the phone. He was shocked and begged for mercy while holding the phone. "Manager, calm down. I will be back right away, right away. Why are you replying, you idiot? I signed you up for sick leave, and now you're back. Do you want to ruin my job? You unlucky thing, just because you are not at your post, we can't produce the cost report for this project. Our entire company's inspection failed, and all accounts must be resubmitted. You'd better pray that our company can survive this inspection safely, otherwise you'll be fired." Beep. After the manager finished scolding, he hung up the phone without even giving Gao Xiaojun a chance to explain himself. Gao Xiaojun had no intention of making excuses. "Do we need to review the accounts? Or should we let the higher-ups come and check? What about the deficit of 6 million he owes?" He panicked and thought of his sister Gao Furong first. "Sister, this is what happened. The 5 million betrothal gift from Xu Yang is still there. I only need 1 million to make up for the shortfall. Can you ask Xu Yang right away?" In the car, Gao Furong took off the diamond ring on her hand and said, "Don't worry, I can solve the money problem for you today. But, tell me about yourself, why did you leave your job for no reason? If you stayed in the company, how could the higher-ups find out the company's faults?" Gao Xiaojun hesitated for a moment, and finally said, "Let's not talk about this for now. Sister, can you lend me the villa at Linhai No. 1? I plan to hold my birthday party here." It was clearly Xu Yang's villa, but in Gao Xiaojun's eyes, it had long become Gao Furong's property. There is no need to ask Xu Yang if you want to borrow it. As long as Gao Furong nods, there will be no problem. Gao Furong wanted to refuse. After all, Linjiang No. 1 had just been robbed, but when she heard her brother was going to hold a birthday party, she had no choice but to nod. "All right, take me to the appraisal institute quickly, otherwise you can forget about the remaining 1 million. Hearing this, Gao Xiaojun smiled and said, "Okay, sister, I'll go to the appraisal office right away." Although Xu Yang is a bit of a coward, he is really useful. Gao Xiaojun seemed to have already imagined the goddess Ning Feifei kneeling at his feet to fawn on him, and the pride in his heart swelled like a loaf of bread. On the other side, Yang Lu stopped in front of a car repair shop, looking conflicted. She used to be a nurse, working in a hospital, and came into contact with some AIDS patients by chance. Now, only one person remains in touch with her. Originally, she looked down on this patient and naturally didn't want to have much contact with him, but who could ask him to introduce her to some local tyrants in Jianghai City? Last time, the patient introduced a boss to her, and her status jumped from a nurse who lived paycheck to become a person with some assets who did not have to work. And so her connection with that patient continues to this day. But why did the patient come to Brother Lei for help now? Brother Lei is the biggest local tyrant in Jianghai. On the surface, he runs a car repair shop, but secretly he is the owner of an underground boxing ring. Not a penny of the money he earns is without blood. If Yang Lu had only heard of Brother Lei's name, she wouldn't be so scared. A year ago, Yang Lu saw with her own eyes how Brother Lei treated those who owed him money and did not pay it back. Since then, the shadow of Brother Lei has always hung over her heart. After hesitating for a while, Yang Lu walked into the repair shop with gritted teeth. Compared to her fear of Brother Lei, she was more tempted by the benefits offered by Gao Furong. Chapter 15. The repair shop was filled with a pungent smell of engine oil. As soon as Yang Lu stepped in, the various auto parts that came into view made her feel as if she had become one of the auto parts. The factory was huge, and all she could see were cars hanging up or falling to the ground. The unfamiliar scene made her stand there in a daze, not knowing where to find anyone. Suddenly, someone whistled behind her. "Hey, when did a beautiful girl come to the factory?" Yang Lu was startled by the sudden sound. She turned around and saw a shirtless young man staring at her with lustful eyes. Before she could react, a group of shirtless men emerged from behind the man. When they saw Yang Lu, they immediately became excited and started shouting. The leading man raised his chin and said, "Are you alone, beautiful lady? Are you here to get your car fixed or to look for someone?" Yang Lu bravely said, I'm looking for Liu Hao." Upon hearing the name Liu Hao, the originally excited men suddenly quieted down, their faces froze, and finally they all made a hut sound at the same time and dispersed. The leading man also looked unhappy. "Liu Hao, right? You wait." He looked up and down at the well-dressed woman in front of him, thinking to himself, you can't judge a person by appearance. She looks so decent, why would she go to Liu Hao? Everyone knows that Liu Hao has an infectious disease. Normally, everyone is so busy avoiding Liu Hao, but now some people are actually rushing to find him. Soon, Liu Hao came out and Yang Lu took him to the outside of the repair shop. "It's so rare that you will come to see me in person." Liu Hao was very surprised, because after he joined Brother Lei, he never received any news from Yang Lu again. "Tell me, what do you want to see me for?" "I want some of your blood." Yang Lu lowered her voice and opened the bag in her hand, revealing a syringe that had been prepared long ago. Still well prepared, Liu Hao raised his eyebrows when he saw this, and looked at Yang Lu jokingly, "Are you sure? You want my blood?" Yang Lu was a nurse before. Didn't she know that the blood of AIDS patients is contagious? Since she knew that, why did she still dare to ask for it? Liu Hao's eyes rolled, and he immediately understood something. He stretched out his hand and rubbed his thumb and index finger together. "You can't just take my blood if you want it. Why don't you show some appreciation?" Once he got AIDS, his life was over. Liu Hao knew this, so he didn't plan to let himself down. He spent as much money as he earned. He had been accustomed to spending lavishly during this period. He was just worrying about where to get money when he ran out of it. Now, money was coming to his doorstep. It wasn't the first time that Liu Hao asked Yang Lu for money. She took out her phone and transferred 5,000 yuan. "Is that enough?" When Liu Hao saw the amount of the transfer, a trace of dissatisfaction flashed in his eyes. "Are you sending away beggars? As a nurse, you shouldn't know that maliciously spreading infectious diseases will lead to criminal detention, right? You really look down on me by offering me such a small amount of money. How much do you want?" 30,000. When Yang Lu heard this, her eyes widened. "You?" Liu Hao didn't think it was a big deal. He wanted to ask for 50,000. He crossed his arms over his chest and said calmly, "You took my blood. If something goes wrong, I will be the one who will bear the responsibility. 30,000 is too little for me. You can do whatever you want. Gao Furong had just called and was urging her to come back. Yang Lu gritted her teeth, glared at Liu Hao, and took out her cell phone. 30,000 is 30,000. You take the money, but you have to keep it a secret. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. As she said this, she reluctantly transferred 25,000 yuan. Looking at the money arriving in his account, Liu Hao finally showed a satisfied smile. He took the syringe and skillfully inserted it into the blood vessel, drew out a tube of blood and handed it to Yang Lu. Looking at Yang Lu again, I found that she had put on gloves at some point. She took the syringe and carefully put it into the thermos cup with ice cubes. In a low-temperature environment, the blood of AIDS patients can be stored for 24 to 36 hours. Yang Lu is a nurse and knows this knowledge best. After screwing the lid of the thermos bottle shut, she said, "We agreed that you can't tell anyone about what happened today." Liu Hao shrugged nonchalantly, "I know, it's okay, I'll go in." With that, the two went their separate ways in front of the repair shop. Little did they know that a shabby van parked in the distance had its window rolled down, revealing a camera that recorded the entire scene from beginning to end. Chapter 16. At Zhejiang restaurant, a waiter led a middle-aged man to open the door of a private room. After waiting for a long time, the fat old Qian opened his arms with a warm smile on his face. "Director Zhang. You are finally here, the only one missing. Hurry, hurry, sit down and drink 3 glasses of wine." Director Zhang exchanged pleasantries, and after taking his seat, he looked around and realized that the 6 people of the same age were all familiar faces. He asked in surprise, "Oh, is this a gathering of shareholders of Jiaxing Films?" As he spoke, he saw Lao Qian sitting in the main seat. Why did Lao Qian sit down when Xu Haixing hasn't he arrived yet? Moreover, is the seat you are sitting in the main seat? Director Zhang's face froze, and he stared at Lao Qian. "Lao Qian, you didn't invite Lao Shu." As soon as he finished speaking, the other 6 people burst into laughter, but their eyes were evasive, as if they were using laughter to cover up something. It turned out that Lao Qian invited all shareholders to the party, except the major shareholder Xu Haixing. Director Zhang understood what was going on, and with a hint of anger in his heart, he asked, "Old Qian, what do you mean by this?" The laughter in the private room stopped abruptly. Lao Qian's hand holding the wine glass froze in the air. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became solemn. The other 6 shareholders all looked at Lao Qian at the same time. Lao Qian simply got straight to the point. "Okay, I won't say any more. I invited you here today because I want to introduce someone to you and discuss the next investment." In the early years, the 8 small shareholders often got together to discuss investment. They were considered a small joint investment group. This was nothing new. But Lao Qian suddenly called them over and not only excluded Xu Haixing, but also said he wanted to introduce someone. This was a strange thing. He aroused the curiosity of other shareholders. Director Zhang was also curious about what he was going to do and watched in silence. The sun is rising from the west, and old Qian is actually introducing a new person. "It's rare, Lao Qian, stop wasting time and bring out the person you want to introduce." "Yes, bring it up quickly." Lao Qian stretched out his hand and pressed it in the air, and said cheerfully, "Okay. Since you are so curious, I won't hide it." Then he turned around and shouted towards the door, "Dongzi, bring your friend in." As soon as he finished speaking, the door of the private room creaked open, and Lao Qian's son, Qian Dong, walked into the room with a strange man carrying a briefcase. The shareholders had already met Qian Dong, and now, their curious eyes all fell on the young man Qian Dong brought in. "Good evening, uncles." Qian Dong greeted with a smile and patted Zhao Kang on the shoulder. "Let me introduce you to my new friend, Zhao Kang, who returned from studying abroad." Chapter 17. If I were to talk about how I met Zhao Kang, I would have to start from half a year ago. Qian Dong's hobby is stock trading. In addition to paying attention to the stock market, his favorite thing to do is to go to economic forums, pay attention to the prediction posts posted by some traders, and occasionally buy a stock according to the content of the prediction post to test the waters. Of course, this approach will result in a 9 out of 10 loss. But he still refused to give up. After all, if he bought the right stocks, he would make a huge profit. Finally one day, he saw Zhao Kang's post in the forum. The post fully predicted the increase of a certain stock, and even specified the time and how many points the stock would increase. The post had detailed explanations. As if by magic, he bought a stock mentioned in the post, and sold it 2 hours before the closing time according to the prediction in the post. As soon as he sold it, the stock plummeted as predicted. Because of this prediction post, Chen Dong's stocks worth 10,000 yuan were hyped up to a value of 100,000 yuan. I made 10 times more money. 10 times. Normally he was lucky enough not to lose money, let alone make money. But now, he really earned 100,000 yuan. The joy of winning the bet made him pay more attention to Zhao Kang's posts, and he even contacted Zhao Kang. After getting to know each other for a while, Chen Dong found out that Zhao Kang was a top economics student who graduated from an Ivy League university abroad and was planning to return to China for development this year. When Chen Dong heard the news that he was returning to China to develop his career, he was overjoyed. So, the day after Zhao Kang returned to China, he couldn't wait to ask his father to organize a group and introduce the person to his father's old friends. Seeing other shareholders staring at Zhao Kang with interest, Lao Chen cleared his throat and said, "For the sake of our long-standing brotherhood, today I have good news for you. The higher-ups are planning to develop green energy. In addition to some established companies, they are also planning to support several emerging energy companies. My friend Dongzi suggested that I acquire shares of Guangdar Energy 2 months ago, and Dongzi even heard the news from the director himself. I am short of money, so I only invested 70 million. I wonder how much money you old friends have left. If you can donate generously, I will definitely remember your kindness. Borrowing money is fake, but raising funds to buy stocks is real." When the shareholders present heard this, their eyes lit up like wolves seeing meat bones. This is a great opportunity to make money. Old Qian is really loyal. He didn't even forget about such a good thing. The shareholders' eager eyes lingered between Zhao Kang, Chen Dong, and Lao Qian, and they all said, "Old Qian, is this true or false? Are you sure it's Guangda Energy? Have you invested 70 million? Dongzi, I have watched you grow up. Tell me, what did the director say to you?" The atmosphere in the private room was boiling like hot water because of the arrival of Zhao Kang and Dongzi. But Director Zhang was as calm as ever, and looked at Zhao Kang with suspicion. He doesn't believe a word about the so-called Ivy League universities and the talents returning from studying abroad. Is Zhao Kang really that outstanding that he can become good friends with Dongzi, who became the secretary of the director through unconventional means? In his opinion, Chen Dong and Zhao Kang are just two pieces of shit who look strong on the outside but are weak on the inside. They got together because they have similar tastes. Director Zhang couldn't stand it any longer, so he slapped the table and said, "Everyone, listen to me. This kind of thing is only reliable if the document comes down. Everyone should keep their eyes open. Otherwise, if the document really comes down and Guangdar Energy's name is not on it, won't it be a waste of time?" Chapter 18. His reminder was meant well, but in the eyes of others it was seen as a cold shower. "Come on, Lao Zhang, if you really wait for the documents to come down, the opportunity will be gone. If you don't vote yourself, don't stop us from voting. That is." At this time, Zhao Kang suddenly stood up with a glass of wine in his hand. "Harmony brings wealth, calm down, everyone, buying stocks is always risky, it is right to be careful, but as the saying goes, wealth and honor are sought in danger, opportunities are only for those who are prepared, business is based on mutual consent, some people are willing to avoid risks, some are willing to give it a try, this is all very normal, why do you have to quarrel over these trivial matters?" Instead of resolving the issue, his magnanimity made the shareholders think that Mr. Zhang was narrow-minded. Mr. Zhang has been doing business for decades, how could he not see what Zhao Kang was thinking? He stared at Lao Chen and asked with a sneer, "Lao Chen, I can see that the drinking party you organized today is because you are dissatisfied with Lao Shu and want to go out on your own, right? Who doesn't know that Lao Shu has recently invested all his money in Hongyun Energy, and that Hongyun Energy is a competitor of Guangda Energy? It's not that you can't invest in Guangda Energy, but since it's an investment, you should invest openly. Organize a drinking party and invite all the shareholders of Jiaxing Film and Television, but exclude Xu Haixing. What does this mean?" Over the years since Jiaxing Film and Television was established, Xu Haixing had many opportunities to take back the shares scattered among the 8 people. But Xu Haixing did not do so. Instead, he gave them corresponding dividends every year according to the contract signed at the beginning. The same thing for more than 10 years. If it were someone else, these shareholders would have either had their shares revoked long ago or been excluded from the shareholders' meeting. People like Xu Haixing who remain true to their original aspirations are rare in the business world. Mr. Zhang was very angry. He was angry that these people who had received Xu Haixing's kindness were completely ungrateful. They picked up the bowls to eat and put them down to curse. Old Qian stood up from his seat with a bang. You can't say that. Boss Zhang, I tried to persuade old Xu, but he refused to listen to me and insisted on doing it his own way. What can I do? Besides, I didn't force you to invest in Guangda. If you don't want to invest, just leave. I won't stop you. Having said that, it is equivalent to an order to expel you. Director Zhang's face darkened, and he said with restraint, people with different ideals cannot work together. I have said everything I need to say. You guys should take care of yourself. After saying that, he put down his wine glass and left the private room with a heart full of anger. Seeing him leave, Zhao Keng reached out his hand to keep him. Mr. Zhang, please stay. We can talk about anything. Let him go, and leave him alone. But Lao Qian seemed determined and pulled Zhao Kang back. Qian Dong also picked up his glass and patted Zhao Kang on the shoulder. Let's drink our own. As soon as the unsociable director Zhang left, the atmosphere in the private room became lively again, with shareholders toasting each other with one glass after another. Zhao Kang, who was being toasted, had a proud look in his eyes, and all the regret that Mr. Zhang had left was swept away. Before returning to China, he asked Qian Dong a lot about Jiaxing film and television. After all, he wanted to take over the company, so how could he not know about it in advance? Mr. Zhang is the most powerful of the 8 small shareholders. If he can be won over, then he will have one more bargaining chip to take over the Xu family company. But now it seems that Mr. Zhang doesn't know much about the goods. The bustle in the private room had nothing to do with Mr. Zhang. As he walked out of the restaurant, he became angrier and angrier, so he called Xu Haixing. Chapter 19. While Xu Haixing was answering the phone, Xu Yang was also answering the phone in another bedroom. Originally, Xu Yang was planning to move back to Linhai No. 1, but when he saw the white hair on his father's head today, he changed his mind. No one in the world could let him let his father down. He was just thinking about whether to take his father to the hospital for a physical examination tomorrow when the phone rang. I picked up the phone and saw that it was Tang Jun calling. Boss, bad news. That bitch's best friend Yarnlu has obtained the blood of an AIDS patient. I think they will attack you tomorrow. Do you want to call the police? Tang Jun's anxious voice came from the phone. Xu Yang sneered and said, we can't call the police. Calling the police will only alert the enemy. Well, what do you want to do, boss? You don't have to worry about anything. Just keep an eye on them. I can handle this myself. Xu Yang continued, by the way, besides Yarnlu, is there any movement from Gao Furong? When mentioning Gao Furong, Tang Jun turned on his computer and sent 2 videos to Xu Yang. Boss, Gao Furong went to a jewelry appraisal institute this afternoon, and then went to the bank. In the video, Gao Furong and Gao Xiaojun came out of the appraisal center with a large black handbag in their hands. It goes without saying that the contents are the money from selling the diamond ring. Another video shows Gao Xiaojun smiling very proudly after coming out of the bank. It seems that he has paid off the company's 6 million deficit and now has no worries, so he dares to smile like that. Very good. I will send you an electronic receipt later. Please go to the appraisal office in the video and copy the surveillance video of Gao Furong doing business in the appraisal office. Only with the electronic receipt can it be proved that the diamond ring sold by Gao Furong belonged to him, Xu Yang. Only after getting the surveillance video did he have evidence that Gao Furong had cheated him of money. After hanging up the phone, Xu Yang opened the blacklist and hesitated whether to release Gao Furong. The blood of an AIDS patient has a short shelf life. In order to prevent him from contracting the disease as quickly as possible, Gao Furong must be in a hurry to find him now. If he doesn't answer the phone, there is no guarantee that Gao Furong will be able to find his father. His father has a bad heart, and if Gao Furong makes a fuss, it would be more trouble than gain. After some hesitation, Xu Yang finally removed Gao Furong's phone number from the blacklist. As soon as it was released, Gao Furong's call popped up impatiently. Seeing this, a hint of sarcasm flashed across Xu Yang's eyes. Gao Furong, this bitch, is really afraid that he will live a good life. After pressing the green answer button, Gao Furong's angry roar came from the receiver. Xu Yang, why did you take so long to answer my call? Where have you been today? You were not at home all day. I order you now to come back immediately, otherwise you will never come back. Gao Furong was so angry at Linjiang number 1 that she made 27 calls to Xu but he didn't answer. How dare she not answer her call? Has Xu watched too many idol dramas and is playing hard to get with her? But a dog is a dog, even if she plays hard to get, she won't look at Xu highly. She is very angry now. If Xu doesn't come back, she will never let Xu get her in this life, either in love or body. I thought that her resolute attitude would make Xu give in and apologize humbly, but unexpectedly, a somewhat cold voice came from the other end of the phone. I have something to do now and can't go back. Can't come back. Gao Furong was so surprised that she almost broke her voice. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? I'm telling you, I'm very angry now. If you don't come back, there will never be any possibility between you and me. If you still want me to marry you, you can do whatever you want. Chapter 20. Hearing this, Xu laughed silently. Does Gao Furong really think she is so important to him? Gao Furong is now worthless to me. He cleared his throat. Tell me what's the matter first. If you don't say anything, how can I know why you have to go back? You? Gao Furong was so angry that she almost wanted to curse. She glanced at the thermos cup Lu had given her, and finally patiently found an excuse. My house was robbed. The TV and refrigerator, the keys to my Porsche, and the diamond ring you gave me are all gone. Please come back and check. Things at home were missing, but Gao Furong didn't feel sad at all. Because all the furniture and appliances in Linjiang number 1 were purchased by Xu Haixing, and the style and taste were all based on Xu Haixing's preferences. She didn't like this arrogant old thing that looked down on her at all. Naturally, she didn't like the things in the villa either. I don't know what this old guy is so proud of. So what if he doesn't like her? Isn't she still completely obsessed with the old man's son? In the end, not only will Linjiang number 1 be hers, but the old man's money will also be hers. Gao Furong thought proudly, and lied without blushing. It's all your fault that you weren't at home today. I had to cook by myself, took off the ring and put it in the living room. When I woke up after dinner, all the valuables in the house were gone. You should come back quickly to see what to do next. Listening to her affected voice, Xu almost felt nauseous. It was clearly Gao Furong who sold the ring, but she had the nerve to say it was stolen. How could she be so shameless? If something is gone, it's gone. I'm busy now and I can't go back. Xu said with cold eyes, I will buy a new one after I finish my work. Is there anything else? If there is nothing else important, I will hang up first. If he wasn't worried that Gao Furong would make trouble with Xu Haixing, he wouldn't have bothered to answer the phone. But Gao Furong's goal was not achieved. How could she allow Xu to die like this? No. Xu, you must come back. Her sharp voice hurt Xu eardrums. Xu got angry for no reason and shouted into the phone, What's the matter with you? I don't have time to argue with you. If you don't tell me now, then don't tell me forever. Xu yelled at her. Xu actually dared to yell at her. It's really a huge uproar. Gao Furong widened her eyes and wanted to hang up the phone immediately, but the thermos cup in her hand reminded her that the blood could only be kept for a maximum of 36 hours and would become ineffective after 36 hours. Gao Furong suppressed her anger and asked, When can you come back? Xu rolled his eyes and raised the corners of his lips jokingly, Tomorrow, I will go back tomorrow afternoon. Really? Great. Gao Furong on the other end of the phone was delighted. If it was tomorrow afternoon, the blood would not have lost its effect. Hearing this, Xu hung up the phone without hesitation. Let Gao Furong be happy first, she will cry later. Xu suppressed the hatred surging in his heart. Just as he adjusted his mood, his father Xu Haixing pushed open the door and came in. He was surprised and asked, Dad, why are you still awake so late? Xu Haixing walked in, You haven't slept either. Dad wanted to ask you if you are free tomorrow morning. Dad would like to introduce you to an old friend. Chapter 21. 10 minutes ago, Xu Haixing just hung up the phone with Lao Zhang. When Lao Qian organized a party, he invited everyone except him. Wasn't this a clear exclusion of him? After hearing the news, Xu Haixing was naturally angry. He also knew that Lao Qian looked down on Xu. But what can he do? Xu had been bewitched by Gao Furong and was completely immersed in love, not caring about his future or career. If this happened in the past, Lao Qian would look down on Xu Yang, and Xu Haixing would have no choice but to swallow his anger. But now it's different. Xu Yang has grown up. He is no longer the young boy who is addicted to humble love. No matter what the reason was for Xu Yang to let himself buy shares of Hongyan Energy, just from the fact that he sold the Linjiang No. 1 villa, it can be seen that he is a person who can take it or leave it. With such courage, what can't he succeed in? Xu Haixing believed that his son just needed an opportunity to succeed. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but open his phone contacts. Looking at the contact named Mr. Hua, he hesitated for a moment, and finally dialed the number without hesitation. Old friend. Xu Yang wondered, since his mother's death, Xu Haixing's social circle had shrunk a lot. Basically, he knew everyone Xu Haixing knew. Was there anyone else who needed an introduction? Thinking about it, he asked curiously, Dad, is there anyone around you that I don't know? Xu Haixing laughed out loud. You little brat, when Dad was your age, he had made a name for himself. Dad knew so many people. Is it strange that you don't know this? Xu Yang looked at his father's smiling face, feeling relieved, and said, Don't worry, Dad, I'm free tomorrow morning. Good. Xu Haixing patted his shoulder and said, By the way, remember to change into something more formal tomorrow. When Xu Haixing took him to meet someone before, he never specifically reminded him to dress formally. What happened today? Could it be that the person Xu Haixing wants to introduce is of great importance? Xu Yang's eyes lit up, and he asked tentatively, Why do you need to wear formal clothes to meet him? Dad, who are you introducing to me? You'll find out tomorrow. As he spoke, Xu Haixing closed the computer in front of Xu Yang and said, It's getting late. You should go to bed quickly. Don't be listless when you meet people tomorrow. In addition to film and television resources, Jiaxing Film and Television also cooperates with many top luxury brands, such as big-name men's and women's dresses, jewelry and bags, perfumes and cosmetics, etc., too numerous to count. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Nora, Xu Haixing's administrative secretary, delivered the seasonal suits from Carlton on time. Mr. Xu, this is a suit I ordered according to your size. Can you try it on to see if it fits you? Nora is in her early 30s and has worked as an administrative secretary at Jiaxing Films for 4 years. But she has taken good care of herself and there is no sign of aging on her face. If you don't know her, you would think she just graduated from college this year. Although she has a face of a college student, her body is as hot as a supermodel. Even the old-fashioned black women's suit looks unique on Nora. Xu Yang took the suit and went into the dressing room. Chapter 22. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xu Haixing asked, Nora, the person we are meeting this time is very important. Have you prepared the gifts? Everything is ready. Nora opened the tablet, found the things she had prepared and said, I'm sending you by house silver needle and a set of blue and white tea sets. Mr. Hua also has a granddaughter who is in kindergarten. I've prepared a set of bilingual picture books and a diamond hairpin. Mr. Xu, please take a look. Giving gifts requires giving what the recipient likes, and everything Nora prepared was exactly what Mr. Hua liked. Xu Haixing felt very satisfied and was about to nod when he suddenly heard a click, and the door of the fitting room opened. The tight-fitting khaki suit made Xu Yang look tall and slender. At this moment, he was lowering his head, concentrating on adjusting his cufflinks. The sunlight coming in from the window shone on his face. He took off his simple robe, put on the crown given by his father again, and became a noble heir. Xu Haixing suddenly forgot to speak, his heart and eyes were filled with pride. At this moment, he seemed to be back to the day when Xu Yang was 18 years old and gave a speech at Jianghai University as a representative of the freshmen. He witnessed this scene with great pride in the audience. That day, his son was also so handsome and frank. His shining son is finally back. Xu Yang walked over slowly and turned in front of him. Dad, how is it? You little brat, you finally look like a human being. Xu Haixing sighed, and his nose suddenly felt sore. Nora, who was standing nearby, also had admiration in her eyes. She pointed to his collar and said, Mr. Xu, your tie. Xu Yang looked down and saw that his tie was not very nice. He smiled bitterly and said, I haven't worn a suit for a long time. My hands are not used to it. Before he met Gao Furong, he was the president of the University Student Union. Although it was not an honor, he was always called by teachers to participate in some formal activities. He wore formal clothes frequently and could tie a tie with his eyes closed. Ever since he met Gao Furong, she didn't allow him to wear suits, and also stipulated that the clothes he wore could not exceed a certain amount of money, and he could not wear light-colored clothes that looked youthful. In this way, under Gao Furong's shadow, he turned from a shiny unpolished jade into a grey stone. That won't do. Xu Haixing frowned. Noller, go and fix his tie. Xu Yang still wanted to refuse, but Nara was already in front of him. Helplessly, he could only put down his hands and let the tall Nara kneel down to fix his tie. Nora has a good appearance and is about 1.78 meters tall when wearing high heels. Xu Yang's conditions were not bad either, and he was not at all inferior to Nara when standing next to her. Xu Haixing's face was full of smiles as he watched this scene. Not long ago, his son was so dazzling, surrounded by all kinds of outstanding people. Soon, the king arrived at the palace. Junlin Huating is the most prestigious 5-star comprehensive hotel in Jianghai City. In the hotel lobby, you can still see old photos of a politician who was hosted by the hotel decades ago. As he was about to get on the elevator, Xu Haixing slapped his head and said, "Oh no! My phone is in the car." But the elevator door opened with a ding. Seeing this, Xu Yang said, "Dad, you guys go up first, I'll get your phone for you." This job should have been done by Nara, but she was wearing high heels and it would be very tiring to go back and forth. Thinking of this, Xu Yang took the car keys from Nara. Xu Haixing was concerned about Mr. Hua, so he nodded and got on the elevator. 5 minutes later, Xu Yang came out of the parking lot and just walked into the hotel lobby, but for the first time he bumped into a group of unexpected people. "Hey, isn't this the bootlicker Xu Yang? He's dressed like a decent person." Chapter 23. Xu Yang picked up the phone, wondering what kind of person the old friend his father was talking about, when he heard a harsh laugh. "Xu Yang is such a bootlicker. What is Xu Yang, the licker, doing here? We didn't invite him here. You are so stupid. I came here for Gao Furong, but unfortunately Gao Furong has something to do today and can't come. So that's how it is. I thought so. A dog will always eat shit. What's more, Xu Yang is a bootlicker." Har har. There was a burst of laughter from the crowd. Looking closely, the person who was laughing the most was Qian Dong, and surrounding Qian Dong were some not-so-strange faces. Xu Yang looked around and immediately realized that this should be Qian Dong's club gathering. Qian Dong and Gao Furong are from the same university and are neighbors at Jianghai University. Although Qian Dong and Gao Furong are not from the same class, they have been in the same club activities. Jianghai University and several nearby universities have held a social party, and it was at the party that Xu Yang met Gao Furong. Because of Gao Furong, everyone in the club knew Xu Yang. However, they knew Xu Yang not because he was the son of Jiaxing Film and Television, but because his dog-licking behavior was too notorious. Listening to their ridicule, Xu Yang was not angry. His eyes fell on the face of the person next to Qian Dong, and he thought, "Isn't this Zhao Kang? When did Zhao Kang get involved with Qian Dong?" When Qian Dong met Xu Yang's gaze, he immediately stopped smiling and walked forward with his men. "Xu Yang, I haven't had time to wish you a happy wedding, but I heard that when you got married, the bride Gao Furong showed up an hour and a half late. Is this true?" After Qian Dong finished speaking, Zhao Kang gave a subtle sneer. On the wedding day, the bride not only arrived an hour and a half late, but she also spent the wedding night in his bed. "Xu Yang, Xu Yang, just wear this green hat properly." Little did he know that Xu Yang had seen his snickering, and then he smiled and said, "You're right, this is true, so the wedding is cancelled." The ridicule on Qian Dong's and the people behind him froze on their faces and turned into astonishment. Some people don't believe it. After all, they all saw how much Xu Yang flattered Gao Furong back then. "Come on, Xu Yang, don't be so stubborn and suffer for your reputation. If Gao Furong hears this, she might run away and deny you." "That's right, Xu Yang, weren't you eager to marry Gao Furong home before?" Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Xu Yang pretended to be shocked. "You don't know. Didn't Gao Furong and I get the marriage certificate?" At this moment, not to mention others, even Qian Dong was surprised. "How is this possible? You didn't get a marriage certificate with Gao Furong?" "Yes, I didn't get the certificate." Xu Yang looked at Zhao Kang with interest, and said to Qian Dong, "But isn't this your club party? When did a new person come? Qian Dong, why don't you introduce him to me?" Although they were surprised, no one believed Xu Yang's words. When they looked at Xu Yang's well-fitting suit, they suddenly remembered the method Xu Yang used to pursue Gao Furong in college. They immediately thought that Xu Yang must have come for Gao Furong when he appeared in Junlin Huating today. And maybe, Xu Yang had made Gao Furong unhappy at his wedding, so he came to apologize to Gao Furong. In addition, Xu Yang suddenly asked about Zhao Kang, and everyone thought he was trying to change the subject. Just change the subject, they should be merciful and protect the self-esteem of the lickspittle. Chapter 24. Thinking of this, Qian Dong straightened his back, patted Zhao Kang on the shoulder, and introduced. Then let me introduce you. This is Zhao Kang, an economics student who graduated from an Ivy League school. He was the one who recommended me to invest in Guangda Energy. By the way, Xu Yang, are you still trying to persuade your dad to invest in Hongyun Energy? Listen to me, before the market closes, sell all the shares you can. Don't let the market close and you'll be left with nothing but your underwear. Your dad worked so hard to earn money, and he didn't let you squander it. Since childhood, Qian Dong hated Xu Yang the most because other people always compared him with Xu Yang. For example, Xu Yang was admitted to Jianghai University, a 985 university, while he could only get into an ordinary first-class university. Xu Yang also received a scholarship, while he almost failed the course. But God has eyes. Xu Yang met Gao Furong. From then on, Xu Yang became an unlearned bootlicker, and he found a good job as soon as he graduated, and smoothly worked his way up to the position of director of the secret arts department. Now, no one dares to say that he is not as good as Xu Yang, the bootlicker. Qian Dong said proudly. The person behind him was keenly aware of something and immediately asked, he recommended you to invest in Guangda. Could it be that he is the golden trader you met on the forum? Everyone in the club knows that Qian Dong's hobby is stock trading. He had made 100,000 yuan in one go before, and many people in the society envied Qian Dong in private. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked at Zhao Kang as if he were a treasure, as if Zhao Kang had become a walking golden cake. Great, Brother Dong, you know such an amazing person, but you're willing to tell us today. That's right, tell us quickly, is there any secret in this vast energy source? Brother Dong, now that you can make money, don't forget us old friends. Qian Dong, who was being sought after, was beaming with joy. He stretched out his hand and pressed in the air, saying, be patient, I will introduce Zhao Kang to everyone in a moment. After that, everyone fell silent. Qian Dong looked at Xu Yang in front of him with a proud look on his face. Xu Yang, did you hear what I said? You are a married man, and you will need money a lot in the future. Don't be willful. Gao Furong is not here now. Go home and apologize to her. By the way, ask your father to sell all the stocks he invested in Hongyun Energy. It's not easy for your father to make money, don't you think? Hearing this, everyone looked at Xu Yang with a little more disgust. I originally thought Xu Yang just licked some, but I didn't expect him to be so confused that he actually encouraged his father to speculate in stocks. Does he think that he is a golden trader like Zhao Kang and can always make money when buying stocks? There are many people who have lost their fortunes in stock speculation and even committed suicide by jumping off buildings. It would be fine if Xu Yang couldn't bear it, but why should he implicate his father? TSK, it seems that Xu Yang is not only a bootlicker, but also a complete prodigal son. It is really unfortunate for the Xu family to have such a son. I want to give this to you too. In the eyes of the crowd, Xu Yang said calmly, Qian Dong, it's not easy for your father to make money. I heard that your father invested 70 million in Guangda. That's your family's assets, right? Stock trading is risky. If you lose money, your whole family will have to starve, right? He looked at Qian Dong jokingly, his expression calm, as if he was looking at the humble dust on the ground. But it was his calmness that angered Qian Dong. Qian Dong pointed his finger at Xu Yang's nose. You dare to curse me? Chapter 25. You dare to curse me? Qian Dong pointed at Xu Yang's nose, feeling furious. Xu Yang sneered faintly, I am just reminding you kindly, how can you curse? My father invested 300 million in Hongyun Energy. Even if the Xu family lost all of it, they wouldn't go bankrupt. But your Qian family has put out 70 million. Isn't that the limit? If they make money, everyone will be happy. But if they lose money, how will your Qian family, with such a large family, live? Qian Dong is 2 years older than Xu Yang, but according to their status, Chen Dong has to call Xu Yan young Mr. Xu, just like old Chen. It is obvious that the Chen family survives on the dividends from Jiaxing film and television. In other words, Xu Haixing and Xu Yang are the big bosses of the Chen family. No matter what, Chen Dong should support the Xu family's talents. But no one knows what Chen Dong is thinking. Since he was a child, Chen Dong has regarded Xu Yang as his imaginary enemy. Not only does he not respect him, he also always slanders him behind his back. If the reputation of liquor was something Xu Yang had earned himself, then the unwarranted infamy of unlearned prodigal son and waste were all spread behind the back by Chen Dong. When Chen Dong heard this, he became even angrier. Xu Yang, this damn liquor, thinks he is so great just because his family has some money. He was about to start cursing when Zhao Kang stepped forward and said, Xu Yang, you can't say that. Your family is rich, but the money is ultimately earned by your father. In the final analysis, without your father, you are nothing. And Chen Dong's family earned their money bit by bit with their own hands. Chen Dong advised you with good intentions, but you just ignored him. Why do you take his kindness for granted and curse Chen Dong instead? When his friends from the club behind him heard this, they nodded in agreement and echoed. That's right. Xu Yan, just wait and see. If you continue like this, sooner or later you will ruin the Xu family and bring disaster upon yourself. That is, without your father, who are you? You dare to speculate in stocks just because your family has a little money. Do you think you are Brother Dong? Stop dreaming. Chen Dong felt very refreshed when he heard these words that belittled Xu Yan. The anger in his heart disappeared and he became arrogant. Chen Dong raised his chin and said, Okay, Xu Yan, today is a good day for our club to get together. I don't want to argue with you. I'll tell you the truth, Gao Furong really didn't come today, so don't stay here, go back quickly. Otherwise, the person who comes out to ask you to leave will be the hotel security guard. He looked at Xu Yang in a suit jokingly, and thought to himself, he doesn't look like a prince in the dragon robe, but a clown instead. Hearing this, the people behind Chen Dong quickly agreed, that's right, you should leave quickly and go back to comfort Gao Furong. Maybe you can still have a good life. Otherwise, there will be no dormitory building for you to stand under and kneel down to apologize. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone burst into laughter. Har har har. The noisy laughter drew the attention of everyone in the hotel lobby. Outsiders didn't know why, but Chen Dong's friends in the club all remembered one thing. When he was in his senior year, Xu Yang from Jianghai University forgot to bring breakfast for Gao Furong, leaving her hungry for the whole morning. In a fit of rage, Gao Furong blocked all contact information of Xu Yang. Xu Yang was filled with remorse and ran from Jianghai University to Gao Furong's university, knelt down downstairs of the girls' dormitory, and said sorry 10,000 times. It is because of this incident that Liquor Xu Yang became famous. Thinking of this, Chen Dong suddenly regained his confidence. So what if Xu Yang is rich? Hasn't he become a bootlicker who is laughed at by everyone? Chapter 26. He raised his chin high, with an expression that said, Xu Yang, go home quickly. The person behind him followed and said, that's right, go home quickly. Everyone stared at Xu Yang, waiting to see how he would run away in disgrace with his tail between his legs like a stray dog. Unexpectedly, there was the crisp sound of high heels stepping on the floor behind him, and a cold female voice, who does Secretary Chen want to drive away? At work, everyone calls Chen Dong Secretary Chen. Chen Dong's body trembled, and he bowed his head subconsciously, but the next second he remembered that it was not working hours. He quickly turned his head and looked in the direction where the sound came from. The person who had just laughed at Xu Yang also turned his head. Nora, who had a body so good that people couldn't take their eyes off, came over with a cold air, and finally stopped in front of Xu Yang, lowering her eyebrows and looking amiable. Mr. Xu, you haven't been up for too long. Mr. Xu was worried that something had happened to you, so he asked me to come down and take a look. Xu Yang nodded nonchalantly, looking at the group of jaw-dropping people in front of him with interest. After greeting Xu Yang, Nora turned around with a faint smile on her face. I thought I recognized the wrong person, but I didn't expect it to be Secretary Chen. When Chen Dong saw Nora's face, his heart was filled with shock. Damn, why is this woman here? She wouldn't tell anyone about the fact that she runs errands for others at work, right? Chen Dong forced out an ugly smile. It turns out to be Miss Nara. Long time no see, I wonder why Miss Nara is here too. Of course, I came out to discuss business. Nora put away her smile and said, "It's not strange that I'm here, but Secretary Chen. Today is not the weekend, and you are not working at the company. Why are you here?" "When I came out of the elevator just now, I saw Secretary Chen asking Mr. Xu to leave. But in my opinion, the person who should leave here is probably Secretary Chen, right?" Chen Dong's expression suddenly changed, and he quickly explained, "Miss Nora misunderstood. Today is my university's club party. I asked for leave from the director in advance. And I don't mean to ask Xu Yang to leave here. I just have good intentions. I'm worried that he and his new wife will have a quarrel and affect their family life." I don't know if it was Chen Dong's illusion, but when Nora heard the words he and his new wife, her eyes darkened a little. After listening to this, Nora turned around and asked Xu Yang, "Mr. Xu, is this true?" Xu Yang didn't say anything, but looked at Chen Dong with a smile. Chen Dong's heart was lifted up, and his attitude changed 180 degrees. He clasped his hands together and said to Xu Yang respectfully, "Mr. Xu, you misunderstood, I really didn't mean anything else." Zhao Keng widened his eyes when he saw this, and looked at Nora without leaving a trace, wondering, who is this woman? Xu Yang finally chuckled and said, "Yes, he is kind-hearted. Nora, we should go up." Nora nodded and stepped aside. "Mr. Xu, please." Everyone was confused, but before they could become curious, they were all captivated by Nora's curvy figure. It was not until the elevator door, which was reserved for VIP users, closed that they came to their senses. Xu Yang, this bootlicker, actually didn't come here for Gao Furong, but was invited up by a woman with an amazing body. How is this possible? Chapter 27. Chen Dong, who is that Miss Nora? Sitting in the elevator, Zhao Kang couldn't help but ask questions. Chen Dong wiped the sweat from his forehead and avoided his gaze. "She is just an administrative secretary of Jiaxing Film and Television." Someone was surprised. "Your attitude changed so quickly just now, I thought you met your boss." Everyone looked at Chen Dong with suspicion. Chen Dong laughed and said, "I'm not quick to change my attitude. I'm a gentleman, you know what a gentleman is. Xu Yang is her boss's son after all, I have to give him some face, right?" This seemed to be the case, and the members of the society nodded. They were really scared. They thought that Xu Yang, the bootlicker, had become successful and had a beautiful secretary to help him out. It turns out that, after all, he still relies on his father who is the boss. Regardless of whether Xu Yang came for Gao Furong or not, it has been confirmed that Xu Yang is a prodigal son. And even if Xu Yang didn't come for Gao Furong, it couldn't change the fact that he was a bootlicker. In their opinion, within 3 days, Xu Yang would definitely post an apology statement on his WeChat moments and then flatter Gao Furong. At this moment, the elevator dinged and their private room floor arrived. Seeing this, Chen Dong hurried out of the elevator. We're here. Go order some food. I'm going to the bathroom first." As he spoke, he walked towards the bathroom sign on the wall. He needs to find a place to calm down. Others may not know, but Chen Dong knows very well that although Nora is just an administrative secretary, she is actually the eldest daughter of the chairman of a powerful local securities group in Jianghai City. Even his immediate boss would greet Nora warmly when he sees her. As for why he became a small secretary in Jiaxing, his father was not quite sure about the reason. Even if Nora was not mentioned, even if Xu Haixing came, his immediate superior would have to smile and say hello actively. Because 3 years ago, the authorities conducted a random inspection of Jianghai City's public facilities, and one trunk road failed the inspection and needed to be repaired. However, repairs cost money, and the city could not come up with so much money, so they could only contact some kind-hearted companies. After raising funds for a long time, they were still short of half of the funds. As the deadline for repairs was approaching, many units in the city were busy and worried about this matter. At this time, it was Xu Haixing who paid money to help Jianghai City solve its urgent problem. It was precisely because of this that Xu Haixing won the Outstanding Entrepreneur Award that year. The person who presented the award to Xu Haixing that year was Chen Dong's direct superior. Chen Dong dared to laugh at Xu Yang, but he didn't dare to laugh in front of Nara and Xu Haixing. But now, Nara saw it with her own eyes, and he didn't know if this matter would reach the ears of his immediate superior. At the same time, Zhao Kang stood outside the private room and sent a text message to Gao Furong. Zhao Kang felt uneasy. Didn't Gao Furong say that Xu Yang was obedient to her and that if she pointed east, Xu Yang would not dare to go west? But today it seems that it is not the same thing. But he was not worried that Xu Yang would get out of control. Yang Lu had already gotten blood, and Xu Yang would not be happy for long. Luxurious suite on the top floor of Junlin Huating. As soon as Xu Yang entered the door, he heard a hearty laugh. His father was talking to someone. Xu Yang is a kid who always does things slowly. Don't be offended, Mr. Hua. Har har. Kid, it's better to do things slowly than in a hurry. Mr. Hua was sitting at the southeast corner of the coffee table, and his line of sight was just enough to see through the entrance hall and see the person coming in from outside. Chapter 28. As soon as Xu Yang appeared at the entrance, Hua Lao saw him, and the words he was about to say stopped abruptly, and turned into an exclamation: resemblance, too much like. Like what? Xu Yang stood there in a daze. Xu Haixing turned around, and when he saw him coming, he quickly stood up, patted his shoulder and brought him to Mr. Hua. Mr. Hua, this is my son Xu Yang, take a look. As he said this, he asked Xu Yang to turn around. The old man in front of him was probably in his early 60s, with graying hair and a shrewd look in his eyes. But at this moment, Xu Yang read a hint of nostalgia in the old man's eyes. What do you miss? Could it be that I am more similar to someone the old man knows? The next second, the old man's words answered Xu Yang's doubts. As expected, he is Zhu Jia's son. He is so handsome, not like you at all. Xu Haixing laughed out loud after hearing this. Yes, this child takes after his mother and has been handsome since he was young. Xu Yang vaguely understood something. Dad, who is this grandpa? Hearing this, Mr. Hua was so anxious that he picked up his cane and knocked on the floor. Good boy, when you were a child, you pulled my beard. I haven't forgotten you, but you forgot me first. Xu Haixing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He quickly pulled Xu Yang's hand and said, silly son, this is Mr. Wuqing, your mother's teacher. When you were a child, your mother always took you to Mr. Hua's house to play. Don't you remember it? Back then, when Xu Haixing got married, it was Zhu Jia who was taken over from Wuqing. Zhu Jia was born in a poor family and had no father. She debuted early because Wuqing saw that she had talent and accepted her as a student. If Wuqing didn't have a son of the right age, it would never have been Xu Haixing's turn to marry Zhu Jia. Xu Yang was only 12 years old when Zhu Jia died. Later, the Xu and Hua families each had their own family affairs and gradually had less contact. It is not surprising that Xu Yang does not remember these things. However, when Xu Yang heard the name Wuqing, a bolt of lightning exploded in his mind. Did he hear correctly? The old man in front of him was Wuqing, who had come back from retirement in his previous life and won the Oscar for Best Picture with a dance-themed movie. Such a heavyweight veteran artist turned out to be my mother's teacher. Xu Yang felt joyful. In his previous life, he was trapped at home by Gao Furong for 3 years and was imprisoned for 6 years. When he recalled his childhood memories with Mr. Hua, he felt like it was a lifetime ago. It turned out to be Grandpa Hua. I was young at that time and I don't remember many things. Please don't be surprised. He smiled, with the purest light in his eyes. Wuqing stared at his face closely, and thought of Zhu Jia who died young. He felt sad, so he pulled his son Hua Mingkai over and said, Come, old man, let me introduce my son, Hua Mingkai. He is now a small director, but he doesn't have many representative works. Haixing, you work in the film and television industry. If you have any good scripts, please recommend them to Mingkai. Our two families haven't cooperated for a long time. Hua Mingkai was about 37 or 38 years old, wearing thin-framed glasses and looking very literary. Nice to meet you, look forward to more cooperation in the future. With a smile on his face, he walked up to Xu Haixing and Xu Yang and shook hands with them one by one. Xu Yang was even more at a loss whether to laugh or cry. There are only a few famous directors in China, and Hua Mingkai is naturally one of them. Several of his works have won awards for the leading actors and actresses. Can you say that he has no representative works? After so many years, Xu Haixing thought that the relationship between the Xu and Hua families had become cold with the departure of Zhu Jia. Unexpectedly, as soon as Xu Yang came up, the rift between the two families disappeared in an instant. Chapter 29. The atmosphere in the penthouse suite of Junlin Huating was gradually becoming lively, but the number 1 seaside villa far away was frighteningly gloomy. Damn Xu Yang, he actually went in and out of the hotel with another woman behind my back. Gao Furong was so angry that she smashed the goose-down pillow in her hand to the ground. Her sharp nails scratched the silk material of the pillow, and the goose down filling in it flew into the air like snowflakes. Without large furniture, the villar's living room looked unusually clean. But after all her efforts, half the room was filled with flying goose down, and the room suddenly became a mess. Yang, who was standing by, said with a common hatred, "What did I say? Yang just saw that he had you, but he didn't cherish you anymore. He dared to bring a wild woman in and out of the hotel right after getting married. When we get the marriage certificate, won't he bring the woman home in front of you?" The more Gao Furong thought about it, the more she hated him. "No, I'm going to find him now." As she spoke, she picked up the thermos cup and fruit knife that she had prepared. Yang, this dead bootlicker, dares to fall in love with someone else after just one day of not seeing him. If she caught him, she would stab the knife stained with the patient's blood into Yang's body. How dare the dog she looked down upon lick others? When her master no longer exists, is she dead? But Yang stopped her. "Furong, calm down first. We can't let Gao Furong run around with blood on her body. After all, she was the one who caused the blood. If Yang was only scratched, it would be fine. But if someone else was accidentally scratched, she would be responsible." At this moment, she had an idea. "Wait, Furong, why would Yang go to Junlin Huating for no reason? Do you think he knew that your club was going to have a gathering there today?" Hearing this, Gao Furong paused and stared at Yang in a daze. "What's the meaning?" Yang rolled her eyes and said, "Tell me, could it be that Yang knew that your club had a party today and thought you would show up, so he deliberately brought a woman to their hotel, just to let you see him and make you jealous of other women for him? But he never expected that you didn't go today, but asked Zhao Kan to go with you." As she spoke, Yang began to believe it herself. "In my opinion, Yang still cares about you. If you really go there, won't you be fooled by him?" After hearing this, Gao Furong immediately realized what was going on, and then sneered. "Okay, a licker is still a licker. He just can't change his stubborn behavior of kneeling and licking. Does he think I will like him just like this? Bar." She spat fiercely, put her things down and sat down on the sofa. "You're right. If I had really gone there, I would have been fooled by him. She was waiting here, she just didn't believe that Yang wouldn't come back all day." Seeing that Gao Furong changed her mind, Yang finally breathed a sigh of relief. She picked up her phone and checked the time. It's already 12 o'clock. Yang should be back soon. Let's not worry and wait a little longer. Gao Furong nodded, thought for a moment, and then said, "Hurry up and go to the entrance of the villa area and wait. If you see Yang's car, send me a message immediately so that I can smear the blood in the syringe on the knife. Yang is such a bastard. He dared to find a wild woman and even found excuses for her to cause trouble. Okay, I'll go watch the door first, and you wait for my news." After saying that, Yang left the room. We waited until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When Gao Furong was dozing off in the room, a ding-dong sound came from her cell phone. Hurry, Yang is back, get ready." After seeing the words clearly on the screen, Gao Furong shuddered violently, unscrewed the lid of the thermos cup, took out a syringe and squeezed the blood onto the blade, then tightened the thermos cup and hid it in her bag. These actions are done in one go. She adjusted her breathing, and soon, she heard the sound of a car outside the house. Chapter 30. Click. The fingerprint locked door of the villa was pushed open from the outside. When Yang stepped into their house, he saw goose down all over the floor and frowned. Gao Furong, who was standing in the middle of the goose down, was completely unaware and asked sternly, "Yang, tell me the truth, who did you go to the hotel with today?" Yang pretended not to notice her hands behind her back and put his coat on the hanger. "I already said I was busy with work, why are you so worried?" "Who's worried about you?" Gao Furong snorted coldly and raised her neck proudly. "I told you a long time ago that if I knew that you were having an affair with other women behind my back, I would never forgive you even if you kneeled down and begged me. But now you dare to bring a woman to their hotel openly. I will give you one last chance to explain this matter clearly." As she spoke, she walked forward, approaching Yang step by step. Yang sneered, "You and I haven't obtained a marriage certificate. It's my freedom to go to their hotel with whomever I want. Why should I explain to you who you are to me?" Gao Furong widened her eyes in disbelief. Is Yang crazy? How dare he talk to her like this? Isn't Yang afraid that she will get angry? Break up with him in anger? She clenched her teeth and looked ferocious. "Are you deaf, Yang? I'll give you one last chance. If you still want me to get married with you, kneel down immediately and apologize to me. Otherwise, not only will I not get married with you, I'll also make you pay. Such a shameless person takes himself too seriously? Xu Yang just found it ridiculous. In the past, he loved humbly and allowed Gao Furong to trample on his dignity. And now, Gao Furong still wants to continue trampling on his dignity. It's impossible. Okay, I'll say this one last time, kneel down and apologize to me, or you'll never get married to me. As Xu Yang spoke, a mocking smile appeared on his face. What did you say? Gao Furong was stunned. Is this bootlicker Xu Yang really crazy? Does he know what he is saying? After being shocked, she decided to go all the way. She pulled out the knife hidden behind her back, with a mad flash in her eyes. Xu Yang, I don't think you will cry until you see the coffin R. Before Gao Furong could finish her words, Xu Yang's face darkened and he stepped forward at lightning speed. In front of women, men have natural strength. Xu Yang grabbed her arm with his backhand, preventing her from moving. Gao Furong screamed in fright. When ordinary people see a knife, wouldn't they subconsciously step back? Xu Yang, why? But before she could react, the knife in her hand was taken away by Xu Yang, and then she felt a sharp pain on the back of her hand. Gao Furong widened her eyes in horror, and saw a cut on the back of her hand, with bright red blood oozing out of the wound. Oh, my hand! My hand! She struggled violently, panic flashing in her eyes. This knife was stained with the blood of an AIDS patient and was used to scratch Xu Yang. Why did it become me now? What should I do now? Gao Furong grabbed her wrist, looking almost crazy. Xu Yang pushed her away in disgust and shouted angrily, "Don't go crazy in front of me, get out." Disgusting woman, even if her blood dripped on the floor of the villa, he felt it was dirty. Chapter 31. In his previous life, Xu Yang pursued Gao Furong for 2 years, was subjected to cold violence by Gao Furong for 3 years after marriage, and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Gao Furong's shadow has shrouded Xu Yang for 11 years. Just ask, how many 11 years are there in a lifetime? How could Xu Yang not hate this? Even a clay figure has some temper, let alone he is a man. Since Gao Furong was planning to make him contract a serious disease, why didn't Xu Yang dare to retaliate and let Gao Furong also taste the pain of being sick? He said that in this life, he would make all those who had let him down pay the price. Gao Furong held her scratched hand, still immersed in the dream of Xu Yang loves her so much, and couldn't wake up. She said in disbelief, You dare to scratch me? How dare Xu Yang? But Xu Yang not only dared to do so, he also did it. Didn't you try to hurt me with a knife first, and now you deserve it? Xu Yang's eyes were cold. I told you, don't go crazy in front of me, get out of here. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lu rushed in. Seeing Gao Furong's bloody hand, she was so shocked that her phone dropped to the ground. Fleur! How could you? Shouldn't Xu Yang be the one who got injured? Gao Furong seemed to see a savior when she saw Yang Lu. She shouted with trembling lips, Lulu, what should I do? Save me. Yang Lu is a nurse, she must be able to save herself. Yang Lu rushed forward and saw that Xu Yang was not hurt at all and the only injured was Gao Furong. Suddenly, everything went dark before her eyes. But the facts before her did not allow her to hesitate. Come on, I'll take you to the hospital. Yang Lu supported Gao Furong, picked up the phone on the ground, and quickly left the villa. Even after the person left, Xu Yang couldn't calm down the surging hatred in his heart. When he snatched the knife from Gao Furong, he almost couldn't help but stab the knife into Gao Furong's heart. Let her cheat on her husband with Zhao Kang. Let her catch herself a dirty disease. Let her collude with Zhao Kang to seize the Xu family's property. Let her kill Xu Haixing. Let her get herself thrown into jail. Gao Furong deserves to die. But his 6 years in prison told him that it was not worth sacrificing his freedom for this dirty woman. Bang! After calming down for a long time, Xu Yang dropped the knife and sat down on the sofa exhausted. The goose down on the floor overlapped with the white scene at his father's funeral in his previous life. He was in so much pain that he wanted to scream. But at this moment, boss, are you okay? Tang Jun rushed into the villa with its door open, panting, along with a younger brother. Last night he told his boss about Yang Lu's attempt to get blood, just to remind him to be careful, but his boss told him not to worry about it. Tang Jun tossed and turned all night, but in the end he couldn't just ignore it. So, at dawn today, he was watching near Linjiang number 1. Only God knew how nervous he was when he saw the boss walk into the villa alone. That was the blood of an AIDS patient. How could the boss joke about his own body and health? Chapter 32. Seeing the boss appear, Tang Jun quickly got out of the van. He wanted to sneak up to the villa, but he was seen by the patrolling security guards in the villa area, who mistakenly thought they were thieves and stopped them. No matter how they tried to persuade him, the security guard just wouldn't believe them. Then, Yang Lu came out supporting the injured Gao Furong. There's blood. Where is the boss? Why hasn't the boss come out yet? Did something happen to him? Tang Jun's heart was in his throat. Without saying a word, he pushed the security guard aside and rushed towards the villa. Boss, you are not hurt. Before Xu Yang could even open his mouth, Tang Jun pulled him up from the sofa and checked him from head to toe. The younger brother kicked the bloody knife away from the ground, his face full of disgust. Soon after, the security guards from the villa area rushed in. The residents who could live in Linjiang number 1 were either rich or noble. If any accident happened, these small security guards could not take the responsibility. Tang Jun finally had time to explain, misunderstanding, all misunderstanding. Soon, after sending the security guard away, Tang Jun took a cotton swab, dipped the blood on the knife, put it in a sealed bag as evidence, and took a few photos. Xiangzi, the younger brother who came with him, took a broom and wanted to sweep the messy hall. Seeing this, Xu Yang's extreme emotions disappeared in an instant. No need to sweep, just leave it like this. You guys help me pack some luggage, don't do anything else today, just help me move. Anyway, the villa at Linhai number 1 has been sold, so he can just ask the cleaning company to clean it again before the buyer takes possession of the house. After today, he will walk out of the haze created by Gao Furong and move towards a new life. Moving. Tang Jun flexed his arms. That's easy. This house was decorated as a wedding room. Half of the large furniture was moved away, and the rest were mostly personal belongings. It was not difficult to pack up, but the three of them were busy until nightfall. After seeing off the people from the moving company, Tang Jun uttered a grunt to himself. After it was emptied, the hall was so empty that it echoed. When his stomach growled, Xiangzi and Xu Yang's eyes fell on him at the same time. Tang Jun smiled shyly. I'm sorry, I've been busy all day and haven't eaten yet. After he said this, Xu Yang became the embarrassed person. Xu Yang glanced at his watch and said, it was my negligence that made you busy with me for the whole afternoon. How about this, I'll treat you. Invite your brothers and have a good meal tonight. Tang Jun and Xiangzi looked at each other and smiled happily. Boss is so generous. Tang Jun's team consisted of 6 people in total. 1 monitored Gao Furong, 1 monitored Yang Lu, 1 followed Zhao Kang, and another kept a close eye on the camera placed in Xu Haixing's office. The remaining 2 people responded improvisationally. Half an hour later, at the junction of urban and rural areas, there was a small place called Brothers Food Stall. After the daytime heat, the nights in Jianghai City are a little cooler, but not deserted. The food stalls are bustling with customers playing rock paper scissors and the chefs shouting. Tang Jun scratched his head and said, Boss, don't despise this place because it's simple. Don't look at the bad environment here, but as long as the dishes are served, you will know what the traditional Jianghai taste is. Xu Yang didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and took the beer he handed to him without hesitation. To be honest, Xu Yang really misses the lively atmosphere of food stalls and roadside stalls. In his previous life, after Xu Haixing's death, the Xu family went bankrupt. Xu Yang was heavily in debt, and his quality of life plummeted. Later, he was thrown into prison. During the years he spent in prison, what he missed the most was actually the smoky street shops. The dishes were served quickly. Boss, please try it, this is their signature dish. Tang Jun picked up a piece of fried food with chopsticks and put it into Xu Yang's bowl, his eyes full of anticipation. The dish in the bowl was still steaming, and just the smell made one's mouth water. Xu Yang picked it up without hesitation and put it into his mouth, his eyes suddenly lit up. Millimeter. It tastes good. Seeing this, Tang Jun and others smiled with relief and rushed to eat. Chapter 33. Halfway through the meal, they couldn't help but start chatting about this and that. Why did you become a private investigator? It's because of life. Being a private detective makes money quickly. Just like you, big boss. Last time we took a few photos, you transferred 10,000 yuan. Tang Jun said this with a calm expression on his face. Nothing is easy. Xu Yan sighed. Qiangzi nodded, it's really not easy. The boss doesn't know yet. Yesterday, I followed Yarnlu to the car repair shop. It took a lot of effort to record the key scenes. In the end, I was discovered by the people in the car repair shop. But fortunately, I ran fast, otherwise I would be in trouble if I was caught. After listening, Tang Jun poured Qiangzi a glass of wine and said, "Thank you for your hard work, Qiangzi." This was not the end yet. The other brothers also patted Qiangzi on the back to comfort him and gave him a thumbs up. Xu Yang was very puzzled when he saw this. Wasn't it just following Yarnlu to the auto repair shop? Why did it seem like a very difficult task in the eyes of Tang Jun's brothers? Could it be that there are man-eating monsters in that repair shop? Thinking about it, he asked, "What's wrong, is that garage scary?" As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Jun and others' faces froze. The ease they had just felt was gone, replaced by solemnity and uneasiness. Tang Jun lowered his voice and explained, "Boss, you don't know. It's not the repair shop that's scary, it's the owner of the repair shop, Brother Lei." Brother Lei. Xu Yang narrowed his eyes in confusion. He had never heard of this person in his previous life. Who is this Brother Lei? Brother Lei is the biggest local tyrant. He runs a car repair shop and also runs an underground boxing ring business. That's not the key point. The key point is that his family has a little money, so he started lending money. He specifically lends money to those who are in urgent need of money and forces them to sign IOUs with high interest rates. The interest is compounded, and those people will definitely not be able to pay it back. What if they can't pay it back? Brother Lei sends these people to the underground boxing ring to fight life and death. Tang Jun's voice became lower and lower, and finally he shook his head and sighed helplessly. Xu Yang, who had been in prison for 6 years and more than 2,100 days and nights, and had been receiving moral education when he was awake, frowned. Naturally, he was unhappy to hear such things that violated the moral bottom line. But before he could open his mouth, a loud noise of a beer bottle exploding suddenly came from the distance. Bang! You old fool, are you blind? How dare you scratch my car? Do you know how much my car is worth? Even if I sell your old bones, you can't afford it. The vicious shouting and cursing stood out amid the laughter and chatter. Many people in the food stall were attracted by the noise and craned their necks to watch. I saw a brand new car parked on the roadside outside the food stall. Several men in fancy clothes were surrounding an old scavenger. The man in the lead had dyed red hair. At this moment, he was pushing the old man and cursing at him. The sack full of plastic bottles of the scavenger was kicked to the ground, and the crushed plastic bottles were scattered everywhere. The old man pleaded in a low voice, "It wasn't me who scratched it, it really wasn't me who scratched it." Seeing this, Tang Jun raised his chin and motioned Xu Yang to look over. "Boss, that red-haired guy is one of Brother Lei's men. In our area, no one dares to stop the red-haired guy from doing anything." Xu Yang frowned even more. At this moment, a woman suddenly rushed out of the food stall. The woman was in her early 20s, at the most beautiful age, but she was wearing a grey short-sleeved shirt and an apron, and she had not yet taken off her yellow plastic gloves for washing dishes. But what caught people's eyes was that this woman had deep eyebrows and a straight nose, and she looked like a mixed race with exquisite beauty. Chapter 34. Even though her clothes were simple, everyone's eyes would subconsciously focus on her face after taking a look at her. This girl's name is Arhua, and she is the old man's granddaughter. Tang Jun said in a low voice. Arhua pushed red hair away and stopped the old man. "Stop it. Your car has been scratched for a long time. It was not my grandfather who did it at all. How many times do you want us to say it before you let us go?" When he saw Arhua coming out, the smile on Hong Mao's face became even more wild. He took out a piece of paper from his pocket and said, "Arhua, I'm not trying to embarrass you. If you just sign this IOU, we won't pursue the matter of your grandfather scratching the car. Your grandfather can also use the money to buy medicine for heart disease. It's killing two birds with one stone, don't you think? Get lost. Don't try to trick me into signing." Under the dim street lights, Arhua had tears in her eyes, making her delicate face look even more pitiful. Tang Jun shook his head and explained to Xu Yang, "Arhua's brother is a good boxer. Brother Lei has taken a fancy to her brother, so he has been trying every means to trick Arhua or the old man with heart disease into signing an IOU. As long as they can't pay back the money, Brother Lei can grab his brother and take him to boxing. It is said that if he wins a fight, Brother Lei can earn 500,000. As he spoke, Xu Yang saw our who were tearing up the IOU. The red-haired man was so angry that he jumped up and kicked the old man. Par. Xu Yang couldn't bear to watch it anymore and was about to stand up. Seeing this, Tang Jun quickly pushed him back to his seat. Boss. Forget it, we can't help. Unless Ahuer's family leaves Jianghai City forever, Brother Lei will never let them go. Xu Yang paused and said with difficulty, I was just thinking that my father also has a heart disease. In his previous life, Xu Haixing died early. If Xu Haixing didn't die, and he was framed by Gao Furong and sent to prison, with the vicious nature of Gao Furong and Zhao Kang, Xu Haixing's future life would probably not be much better than that of the old man who picked up garbage in front of him. Hearing this, Tang Jun felt a little bit sorry. His eyes rolled and he said, I got it. I have an idea. Boss, you just watch here first. As he spoke, Tang Jun left his seat and went into the corner next to the food stall. The next second, a sharp siren sounded from the corner. Tang Jun came out and shouted, Oh no! The police are coming! The police are coming! When the red-haired man and his group heard the sirens, they were shocked. They didn't even have time to think about whether it was true or not. They opened the car door and jumped in. They started the car without hesitation and ran away with their tails between their legs. The car drove a long way away before Tang Jun picked up his stereo from the corner. Seeing this, Xu Yang silently gave a thumbs up. Tang Jun smiled embarrassedly, how can we go out without some equipment? After being disturbed by the red-haired guy, Xu Yang lost his appetite, paid the bill and left the food stall. Brother Lei's people have been harassing our Huer's family, just because she has a very powerful brother. When leaving, Xu Yang asked again. Tang Jun nodded, yes, but we don't know much about her brother's situation. Boss, it's getting late, you'd better go back quickly. Xu Yang nodded, started the car and returned to Xu Haixing's villa. In fact, he planned to help our Huer not only because our Huer's grandfather also had a heart disease, but also because he remembered someone, or a cellmate. During the worst period of bullying in prison, the only person who spoke up for him was Oshu. Chapter 35. Oshu, whose real name is Lin Shu, was imprisoned only 2 years earlier than Xu Yang in his previous life. Although he was imprisoned earlier, he was sentenced to a longer sentence than Xu Yang. Because Oshu was a murderer who had killed 2 people and disabled another, his crimes were so serious that he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Oshu is tall and thin, and looks somewhat gentle. After being in prison for several years, Xu Yang finds it difficult to associate such a gentleman with a murderer. Later, after spending a long time together, Xu Yang finally understood the reason why Oshu committed the crime. It turns out that Oshu has a biological sister and a grandfather who depends on him for everything, but he has no other relatives. Because of their poverty, they lived in a cramped rental house. Their only grandfather was seriously ill, so their sister had to work 2 jobs to support the family. Oshu's grades were not good, and he did not plan to go to college. After high school, he went out to work to relieve the pressure on his family. Although the family was poor, they were at least together. But, a hemp rope always breaks at the thinnest part, and bad luck always strikes the unfortunate people. As Shu's sister was very beautiful, she was spotted by gangsters while working, but her sister didn't want to be with these gangsters. The gangsters were naturally angry and broke into their house one night when Shu was not at home. They bullied her sister in front of her grandfather. Her sister was tortured to death, and her grandfather couldn't bear it anymore and died of illness. Oshu lost all his relatives overnight. He was heartbroken and took a knife to fight with the gangsters. Xu Yang was just thinking, if he helped our Huer, would there be one less poor person like our Shu in the world? Although, it might not help much tonight. As I was thinking about it, I had already arrived home. Hearing the sound of a car, Xu Haixing came out in slippers. When he saw it was Xu Yang's car, his eyes widened into smiles. Son, now that you've moved all your things here, are you going to live with Dad permanently? Xu Yang retracted his thoughts, yes, Dad. What about Gao Furong? Xu Haixing asked cautiously, still feeling a little worried. After all, his son has pursued Gao Furong wholeheartedly for 2 years, and the feelings of the past 2 years cannot be given up just like that. Although his son should be depressed for a while, his current behavior is too abnormal, and it is hard for Xu Haixing not to worry. But he obviously underestimated Xu Yang's determination. Xu Yang waved his hand casually, who cares? Besides, you are always my father. Can you chase me away if I come back to live here? As he spoke, he walked forward, hooked his arm around Xu Haixing's shoulder and led him into their house. Dad, it's windy at night, so wear more clothes when you go out. Thinking of Oshu, Xu Yang realized that in his previous life, he owed his only father so much because of Gao Furong. In this life, in addition to seeking compensation from those who have let him down, he also has to make amends to those who have not let him down, such as his father and Ning Feifei, who has always loved him. Meanwhile, the hospital. Yang Lu used iodine and saline to clean Gao Furong's wound for nearly half an hour. The skin on the back of Gao Furong's hand turned pale and wrinkled. Even so, Gao Furong was still uneasy. Lulu, wash me again, wash me again. No more washing. Yang Lu picked up the empty saline bag and said, if you keep washing, your hands will peel off. What should we do then? There was a flash of helplessness in Gao Furong's red eyes from crying. On their way to the hospital, Gao Furong cried non-stop. It was not enough even after an entire afternoon. Even someone with the best temper would become impatient. Yang Lu suppressed her temper and comforted him, don't worry. Even if you were scratched by a knife stained with the patient's blood, you wouldn't necessarily be infected with AIDS. Besides, you cleaned the wound in a timely manner, so it's impossible for you to be infected by such a coincidence. Otherwise, let's buy some blocking drugs. Chapter 36. Gao Furong asked, are blocking drugs useful? You won't know until you eat it, and it will be useless if you don't eat it. Yang Lu packed Gao Furong's things and urged her, let's go out and buy blocking drugs. Unexpectedly, as soon as she stood up, the cell phone in Gao Furong's bag rang. I picked it up and saw that Gao Zhisheng was calling. Gao Furong picked up the phone. Dad, why are you calling me suddenly? Furong, the ancestral hall in my hometown was washed away by heavy rain. The village is planning to renovate it and is raising money. You still have some money on hand, so take out 500,000 yuan, and hurry up. Really? Gao Furong closed her eyes weakly. She knew that Gao Zhisheng would never call her for no reason. She had money, but she didn't want to give a penny to her father. Dad, Xu Yang's betrothal gift money hasn't arrived yet, and I'm out of money. No money. Gao Zhisheng on the other end of the phone raised his voice, don't lie to your father. I heard from Xiao Jun that you just sold a ring worth more than 6 million yesterday. If you pay Xiao Jun back for the company's deficit, shouldn't you still have 5 million left? You have so much money in your hands, what's wrong with taking out 500,000 to repair the ancestral hall? You are such a traitor. Aren't you a member of the Gao family? Anyway, I don't care. I have already promised the village chief that you will transfer 500,000 yuan to my account before noon tomorrow. After saying that, he hung up the phone. Gao Furong didn't even have the chance to refuse before her phone got busy, which made her furious. He wants money, he wants money. He called me just to ask for money. He didn't even know I was injured. This was the Gao family's affair, so Yang Lu didn't know what to say and just pressed the car key in silence. Just then, a black car stopped by the roadside with a whoosh. Yang Lu looked carefully and said, Furong, it's Zhao Kang, Zhao Kang is here. As soon as Zhao Kang got out of the car, Gao Furong rushed up like an arrow, threw herself into his arms, and burst into tears. Gao Furong, who was immersed in panic, didn't notice at all that the moment she hugged Zhao Kang's expression and movements were obviously a little stiff. Yang Lu, how is she? I cleaned her wound and gave her some blocking medicine. She should be fine. Hearing this, Zhao Kang's somewhat stiff body relaxed. He put his arms around Gao Furong's shoulders and patted her gently to comfort her. While coaxing Gao Furong, he cursed in his heart, wasn't this all planned well? How come it went wrong at the last step? He asked Yang Lu puzzledly, is it really Gao Furong who was scratched by Xu Yang? Isn't he Xu Yang Gao Furong's most loyal bootlicker? Yang Lu lowered her head, I don't know, anyway, when I went in, I saw Furong was injured. Zhao Kang hesitated to speak, forget it, this is not the place to talk, let's go back to Linjiang No. 1 and ask Xu Yang for an explanation. He had to confirm whether Xu Yang's heart was still with Gao Furong. Unexpectedly, Gao Furong shook her head and hugged Zhao Kang's waist, no, I won't go back, Zhao Kang, you stay with me. She had just experienced great fear and needed her lover's comfort. With Zhao Kang around, she was too lazy to think about Xu Yang. Zhao Kang's face froze, and he pulled the corner of his mouth. Okay, I'll accompany you. The three people on the roadside didn't know that their every move was recorded on camera. Chapter 37. On the weekend, Xu Yang made an appointment with Ning Feifei to go to the CBD area in the city center. The office of Feiyang Film and Television Studio is located here. As a subsidiary studio of Jiaxing Film and Television, the news of recruiting talents spread throughout Shanghai City when it was first established. Today, Xu Yang and Ning Feifei came here to act as interviewers. Due to the urgent shortage of staff, the studio's recruitment process has been simplified to an interview. Those who pass the interview can sign a work contract with the studio on the spot. The interview started at 8 a.m. I looked at the clock on the wall and there was still half an hour left. Xu Yang called Yang Rui out alone. Yang Rui, have you ever thought about changing careers to become a director? Anyway, I don't think you like your current job very much. When Yang Rui was at Jiaxing Film and Television, his job was to do online promotion and marketing for films and television programs. In short, film and television promotion means cutting the highlights of a movie or TV series into a short video and posting it online to attract audiences. After hearing Xu Yang's words, Yang Rui paused slightly. Xu Yang was right, he really didn't like his current job. If a movie that needs to be promoted is not exciting in itself, but the movie clips he extracts may be of some interest to the audience and it is a movie worth watching, then the audience will spend money to buy tickets to watch it. But doing so is undoubtedly deceiving the audience. Yang Rui is unwilling to do such false publicity, and he always seeks truth from facts when editing videos. If the movie itself is not good, the edited video will naturally not attract the audience. Gradually, the performance of the team led by Yang Rui became worse and worse. The leader of the publicity and promotion department talked to Yang Rui several times and asked him to make changes. But he has a stubborn temper and refuses to change. He is so stubborn that even 10 cows cannot pull him back. The company does not keep useless people, and Yang Rui also knows that sooner or later he will be fired by Jiaxing Film and Television or transferred to another department. Working for Xu Yang now is the best outcome, and he is not surprised. What surprised Yang Rui was that he had never told anyone that he had the idea of changing careers to become a director. Not even his parents knew about it. Why did Xu Yang know? Xu Yang ignored his pause and continued. I recently met a new friend who is a director. If you plan to become a director, I will send you to that friend and let you learn from him. Having wasted 11 years in his previous life, Xu Yang wished in this life that he could split one day into two. After getting to know Hua Mingkai, Xu Yang added him as a friend. After chatting for a few days, the two of them had become close friends. Mr. Xu. Yang Rui finally spoke, can I consider this matter? Okay, but I'll only give you 3 days to think about it. I'll meet with the director after 3 days. If you don't agree, I won't take you with me. Opportunities only come to those who are prepared. Xu Yang has always firmly believed this sentence. Living his life over again, he didn't absolutely need someone like Yang Rui to contribute to his career. After all, the TV series that made Yang Rui famous has been replayed over and over again in prison more than a dozen times, and he remembers every plot clearly. He can completely write the script himself and then pay someone to shoot it. But, the person who created this script was Yang Rui after all. Adhering to the principle of respecting originality, Xu Yang thought that as long as Yang Rui nodded, he would give him a strong push to speed up Yang Rui's transformation from a film promoter to a director. 3 days. Yang Rui was silent. Somehow he felt like he was standing at a crossroads of fate. Chapter 38. The results of the two choices are completely different, but also completely different. If he makes the right choice, he will have the potential to become famous and get everything his heart desires. Of course, if he made the wrong choice, he would become unknown and no one would know his name anymore. After a while, he said, I'll think about it carefully. Soon, the studio interviews began. Because the salary offered was high, thousands of resumes were sent to the studio. After screening, the administrative department of Jiaxing Film and Television only kept 50 resumes. The order of the interviews was decided by drawing lots. The first few interviewees didn't seem to have any strengths, and Xu Yang, the interviewer, felt a little bored. Until the interviewer Cao Yu appeared. Cao Yu held a black briefcase in his hand and sat down on the chair stiffly. Xu Yang didn't even raise his head, please give a brief self-introduction first. Okay. Cao Yu cleared his throat and said, "Hello, I'm Cao Yu, I'm 22 years old, and I just graduated from the overseas Ivy League Cornell University last year with a degree in economics. My specialty is economics graduate from Ivy League Cornell University." Hearing this, Xu Yang raised his head. Didn't Ti Zhaokang also graduate from this school last year? So, Cao Yu and Zhaokang are alumni. Xu Yang knocked on the table. Can you show me your diploma? The graduation certificate Cao Yu took out was the original, but it was placed in a transparent plastic file bag. Xu Yang could reach out and touch the stamp on the diploma through the file bag. It had a clear convex and concave feel, and there was the stamp and the principal's autograph. This diploma couldn't be more authentic. Are there many Chinese alumni in your university? Not much. Cao Yu added, Cornell University has strict admission requirements for economics, with less than 100 students admitted each year, and even fewer Chinese students. By the way, when I was in college, I also organized 3 large gatherings of Chinese compatriots. Basically, I know every Chinese in the economics department at Cornell University. Xu Yang became interested. According to Cao Yu, he and Zhaokang were not only alumni, but they also knew each other. Thinking about it, he couldn't help but ask, then do you know Zhaokang? In the previous life, Zhaokang was involved in every tragedy of the Xu family, so Xu Yang naturally could not let Zhaokang go. There is an old saying, know yourself and know your enemy, and you can fight 100 battles with no danger of defeat. As long as there was a chance to get to know Zhaokang, he would certainly not miss it. I thought I could hear a positive answer from Cao Yu, but unexpectedly, Cao Yu showed doubt and leaned forward to ask, excuse me, can you say the question again? Xu Yang suddenly had an idea, took out his phone, and found Zhaokang's photo. This man's name is Zhaokang. He also majored in economics at Cornell University and graduated in the same year as you. Do you know him? No. Cao Yu shook his head firmly. All the Chinese who graduated in the same year as me were my roommates. I couldn't have made a mistake. You said that this gentleman graduated from Cornell. I think there must be a mistake. The determination on his face couldn't be faked, so the one who faked it could only be Zhaokang? Thinking of this, Xu Yang curled his lips and smiled, with a cunning light flashing in his eyes. Cao Yu's intended position is finance manager. With his degree from a prestigious overseas university, he is fully qualified for this job. After the interview, Xu Yang discussed with Ning Feifei for a while and decided to sign a contract with Cao Yu on the spot.